They didn't drop us. They're coming
delay.
back.
They're delaying the buy.
Yeah,
I've never felt so rejected in my life.
I'm wearing it right now. They gave us free product. It's unbelievably comfy.
I agree. I'm also wearing them. Stream was
Should we both take off?
Before we get this going, we're getting comments. Let's both leave the stage and re-enter real quick, okay?
Okay.
Hello, everybody. How's that sound? I'm
back.
Okay, I think that fixed it. I don't think it was actually all that bad. So we are good to go. We're going to get this bad boy started in 30 seconds. I just have to dot a couple I's, cross a couple T's. What's the expression? Is that correct?
I think you've got it, bro. What are we? We're not dotting T's, are we?
I mean, we may be. I don't know. I can't.
Moses Moody did.
That's true. Moses Moody did. Moses Moody got paid. Shout out Moses Moody.
All right. Stream's good, by the way. Comments. Thank you.
Okay. Appreciate everyone commenting that the stream is functioning again. I apologize. Somehow my computer is the oldest thing on earth now. It's funny how that happens. You know what I mean? Like,
you get a new computer every year, bro.
I actually haven't. It's been like 3 years, but you know, it happens so fast. You get a new one, everything feels good tech-wise, and then next thing you know, everything's outdated. It's miserable.
I'm terrible with tech, so why is Steph going on Steph's got an interview with Scott Van Pelt right now? That's funny. That's so random.
I mean, Steph's just being Steph.
Did you see Sabrina Onyescu, the first?
What about Sabrina?
They said she said the first person she talked to outside of her family was Steph after she won the championship. Pretty cool.
Obviously. Local lady. Local. Shout out, champ. Shout out, champ. Cool. Let's get to it. All right. Let's get to it. Season preview edition of Light Years. This is a good one, guys. This is going to be a good one. We have special guests galore. We got our guy John Dickinson joining us momentarily. We got the legend Marcus Thompson joining us, and we got Jason Dumas coming for a Bay Area sign-off at some point. Plus, we will be taking some goon phone calls. We'll be talking all things all season. We can talk about extensions. We can talk about our predictions. It's going to be a good time. Presented by Prize Picks. $100 match on your first deposit. Get $50 when you put $5 in with the promo code. Welcome to Light Years. Andy Liu, my man.
What an intro.
You know, that's why they pay me the big bucks. That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Professional. Fucking excited,
dude,
man.
Season starts in less than 24 hours. We're recording this Monday evening. It's 7-something Pacific. Games are going to start around 4 tomorrow. Warriors obviously are playing 48 hours from now. Thursday evening. Where's your excitement level right now? Where are we at? Where are we at?
10 out of 10, dude. I mean, this is it's the beginning of the season. We have no idea how the season's going to go. Honestly, I don't think we have really any idea of what they're going to look like until they step foot on the court. This is amazing. This is, if you really want to put this in perspective, maybe here's where we'll kick it off before our guy JD comes on. I can't wait for that. Can't wait to get his takes on some of the contract stuff. Is that these are the last couple seasons of Steph Curry that we get to see. And I think we can still say he's very much in his prime. We got a couple years left. And if nothing else, I know we're going to argue a lot tonight about Kuminga, some Moody, some Melton, starting lineup, closing lineup, Jimmy Butler. But end of the day, I think, hey, dude, this is one of the last final seasons Steph Curry that's got me on a 10 out of 10. I'm pumped up. JD, what are we doing? What's up, man?
JD, how you doing?
What's going on, fellas? Good to be with you. Everything's sounding good. You can see me. It's all good, man. Pleasure to be on with you guys.
Oh, I think we should start on extension day. You know, I want to do a full season preview, but it's hard not to notice. Sunday night, Moses Moody signs a deal, which, you told me 6 months ago he would be signing 3 for 39. What's that, mid-level exception money? I'd have been like, I don't know. It feels like he'd probably go to free agency before that. And then on the flip side, a little more interesting, Jonathan Kuminga not signing right now.
JD's guy, by the way.
JD, floor is yours. What is your initial take on both of these?
Yeah, well, Moody was a surprise. I would have bet a month ago that neither would have signed an extension. Not a surprise, obviously, that Kuminga didn't sign. He was looking for north of $200 million in terms of total value, and the Warriors were never close to that. I think the latest thing that was reported today was that the Warriors.
Dude, who's his agent?
That's a good question. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
The last reported number of him turning down is what? Did you just what?
It's Aaron Turner. Aaron Turner.
Okay.
Is his agent. But no, what was most recently reported this afternoon was that the Warriors were willing to go, and this had been reported before, in the $30 million a year range in terms of so maybe 150. But he was wanting north of 200 to 220 Franz Wagner-ish money. And so they were never really close to a deal. So that's kind of that. So that is not surprising. I think the Warriors want to see how he fits with this year's team. I think he wants to have the ability to become the true number 2 focal point next to Steph and then go out in restricted free agency and try to command as much as he can get and make the Warriors match it in the offseason. So that's kind of Kuminga. We can get to Moody in a second, but go ahead and jump in.
Do you buy that the Warriors actually offered something in the range of 30 million?
I mean, I think they were willing to go there. Yeah, I do. I think they were willing to go to that point, but I think they viewed that deal, considering what Kuminga wanted, as kind of the Moses Moody deal, right? Like we're gonna pay you. It's a good number for us. You can continue to grow, and if 3 years from now you're the player, you become that player, then you will be a max player at that point, and you can be paid accordingly, either by us or by another team. Speaking from the Warriors' perspective on that, so. I think it was never really close, but I think the Warriors also knew that Kuminga was not going to accept that 120 to 150. So you might as well throw it out there and just let it sit and make him kind of look like like he really has that high opinion of himself. Well, yes, he does. It turns out.
Hey, am I wrong in saying that I feel like both parties are pretty content going into the season with what happened there? I think Kuminga's. Like, I'm pretty confident I can get more than 30 mil per. Whether you believe that's true or not, I think doesn't matter what we believe. He believes it, so I think he's happy. I think the Warriors are sitting there like, hey, we're not going to pay him more than that. And if we did, we probably feel like it's a pretty bad contract. And I personally wouldn't disagree if that were to happen. I think it's almost a little bit similar to kind of like Jordan Poole, where it's like, why don't you just see if we could do it for another season before you give him all that cash, unless you have to. And the Warriors don't have to. So it feels like both sides kind of content going into the season.
At least Jordan Poole proved something. Like, they were the best team in the league when he started before Klay came back.
You're not wrong.
They did win a title. He was one of the 3 leading scorers on that title team. Yes, down the stretch of the finals, he kind of found himself as the 8th man more than a starter. So there were questions, but he was a very important piece to a title team. Kuminga at this point has averaged 16 points per game on a 10 seed. Yeah, and you could say he's more talented than that, but I'm just kind of, honestly, I'm blown away that the Warriors were willing to go over 120 to 150 million. And maybe they weren't, maybe that's agent speak, but like, I'm floored that they're willing to go over 100, and I'm floored he had no interest in anything other than I don't know which side I'm more disappointed in. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know who's the bigger.
You're disappointed.
I don't know who's the bigger idiot here. Honestly, like I think if the Warriors signed him for 30, I'd be like, are you insane? He hasn't proven anything. You just had to give away a first-round pick to get off Jordan Poole's contract. What are you doing paying him when he hasn't actually proven anything? And then on the flip side, they were about to write him life-changing money. And he's like, no, I'm gonna prove that I can, because I want to be paid as much as Cade Cunningham or whatever. The whole thing just right now I am very negative on this team because I don't, all that kumbaya shit. Like, I'm not buying any of it. I think he's gonna get benched. I think it's gonna be the same BS we've seen the last 2 years.
Yeah, I think this team is. I think both sides are comfortable. I don't think anybody's crazy to believe that. I think Kuminga is hoping that he is a featured number 2 option that is essential to the Warriors winning this season. If the Warriors win 50 games this season, he's hoping it's because, in part, he becomes the clear-cut number 2 option, averaging 22 points a game, and then he can demand, closer to that $200 million or max level deal at that point. I think the Warriors also, whether they were willing to truly do the 120 to 150, $30 million per year, I think the one thing that they did not want to do is put themselves in a spot where he would make him, where he is not, knowing that he may or may not fit to varying degrees into what they do this year. They don't want him to become a $30 million player that all of a sudden you can't trade for another $30 million player or trade for a $40 plus million player, because his value is clearly not that of a, come next summer. It's clearly not that. So I think the Warriors were, reluctant to even do that, because that could make it harder to make the kind of deal that they're hoping to make, I think, if they package a couple of players together and bring in a true number 2.
We'll get to that, I'm sure. But I think to that point about Kuminga in the prove a year, that's where I kind of disagree, Sam. I kind of like it. Like, why pay him? He doesn't deserve it.
I agree with you, but if the reporting is accurate, the reporting assumes they offered it. Which is my point, which is like, come on, man. If he signed it, then
well, it was. But do you think I don't think it was ever on the table. Like, I don't think it ever got to the point where it was. Hey, here it is. I just think it was so. In my words, I think it was so insulting to Kuminga's side that it never even got down to the point of accept or reject. I think it was just, hey, we're willing to do this. Oh, that's not even in the ballpark of what we're looking for. So it just kind of died on the vine.
I think it's one of those things. Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it's like the Warriors know he wasn't going to sign it, so it's kind of just a, hey, let's.
It's for face.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing you don't want to do, I'd imagine that would look worse, is the Warriors didn't offer a contract, right? Because that's way worse.
I can get behind that theory.
You like that one?
That's I'm. You've talked me off the ledge, because I'm just sitting here going like, this is an idiot convention on both sides. What are we doing here?
Well, and I don't even necessarily know that. I mean, they would love for him to prove it, but they want him to prove it in a way that fits everything else that they're trying to do with the pieces that they've. And that's, I agree with you, Andy. I think that's it. But I think the Warriors know inherently that that's not going to happen. And so why would you want a guy that's making $30 million a year in that position, and then everybody knows that he doesn't fit and you want to trade him, and like then you're kind of stuck.
Well, I think this is kind of the right path to start the whole season preview, because the whole season does come down to this. I think generally it doesn't matter how good Kyle Anderson fits. If Kuminga isn't like your guy, if is your clear-cut number 2 scorer guy, like doesn't matter how good DeAnthony Melton is as a defender. So I think that's kind of a good way to start it off. But it doesn't bring me down too much, because I do think, end of the day, we don't see this enough in sports. I always say, and we definitely don't see it in basketball, is I don't understand why Franz Wagner got a contract that big. I don't. What has he done?
I like Franz. He's actually
Cade Cunningham. What has he done? Scotty Barnes. What has he done? It's just like across the league, all these guys are getting these absurd contracts, and to me, they've never done anything. And again, you can argue like they're good or what, but it's like, I don't know. But it does feel like it's funny that Kuminga's kind of the only guy that it's like, I don't know. Kuminga could have gotten the 150, 160 million. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think anybody would be surprised if he did get it.
The more interesting thing is I think Franz is good. He's proven he could be the second option on a playoff team. Orlando did win more games than the Warriors. These are all things that happen. And he's what, 22? So I get that, but like the gap between his contract and like Trey Murphy's contract is $100 million. Like it feels too big to me. It feels a little too big to me. JD, I wanted to ask you, so who's going to start then for this team? We're talking about Kuminga, and Steve Kerr hasn't put his starting lineup out there, and the preseason, you said it, feels like it's placating egos with the lineups that he's putting out there. Do you think Kuminga is going to be a starter on opening day or not?
I do think Kuminga is going to be a starter on opening day. I think he should start at the 4. And I think they should start Steph, DeAnthony Melton, Wiggins, Kuminga, and Draymond Green. I think that's the best starting lineup. Yep. I think it sets up. Yep. It keeps him happy. Maybe not fully happy, but it keeps him happy because he's a starter. Truth be told, he wants to be a starter at the 3. Truth be told, Kuminga wants 220. He wants to be the starting 3, and he wants to be featured. Like that would, but I think at least
win 22 games.
Yeah, at least starting him at the 4, I think will appease that. And so I think that's the best starting lineup for the Warriors. You can go to TJD and get big, initially, immediately within the first 4 or 5 minutes, which Steve Kerr does anyway, typically subs in those first 4 to 6 minutes, and it's go time from there. I think it also sets up their reserves to be in a better spot. The Podziemski, Buddy Hield, Moody, Kyle Anderson, throw GP2 in there. If Looney's going to be in there, TJD, if he's not starting, throw Looney to the side. Like that to me, all of those 6, 7 players, they fit to me as a group. And then you pick some of the guys from the bench group that fit with some of the starters, and you figure out who's playing well that night and matchups and how to defend and play two-way ball and shoot 1 million threes, which I think is their goal. And it kind of fits. So, but yeah, he did placate Sam. I thought the Wiggins at the 2, we're going to let Kuminga play the 3 a couple of more times. Going to keep starting Wiggins because I think they don't want Wiggins feeling that that's off the table, or he's going to be a slow ramp up toward being a starter. But to me, the TJD, Draymond, Kuminga front line doesn't work. And I don't think the Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond, TJD front line. And it also leaves you with, now you've got Melton and Podziemski coming off the bench. Like that's the part that doesn't fit. Like, so how do you, I think the best balance is that lineup that I mentioned with Melton at the 2, Kuminga at the 4.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with this comment. Feel like we're still placating egos of average wings. And yeah, that's kind of annoying because, again, you have Steph Curry on this team, and everyone's concerned about, let's make sure Kuminga isn't upset. Let's make sure Wiggins feels comfortable. Like, it's just tiresome. There was Klay's gone, but it was the same thing with him, right? It's like, it's enough of that. Anyway, this is turning really negative.
Well,
I didn't want to go.
Yeah, I was gonna say the difference is that there's nobody else that can. You can't demonstratively say. I think the real question this season is going to be interesting. It's going to be when we haven't talked about the Moody extension. I think there are going to be moments where Moody's just going to be playing better than Wiggins and playing better than Kuminga. Does he play 30 minutes that night? Let's find out. And that's going to be a question. That's huge for me because I can already see it fucking game 1, honestly. Is in a closing lineup, is Moody going to play when he's better than those guys? And I don't think, I guess back to Sam's point, I don't know if they're going to do that, actually. So that's where they're at. But I do like the lineups. I do like that starting lineup. In theory, it does fit. We've seen it work. We saw it work last season. It fit really well. Instead of pods at the 2, you've got a really, really good defender instead. And you kind of hope you have enough ball handling and playmaking to make it work. I like it.
Let's turn this into a positive direction. JD, if I tell you the Warriors won over 50 games, they're 52 and 30. Okay?
Okay.
What happened? What, in your mind, what happened for them to hit the over and like, come on, every one of us would be thrilled if they won 52 games, ended up, let's call it the 3 seed in the West, and kind of had a puncher's chance or in the right situation.
I think it's one, Steph and Draymond together play 70-ish, around 70, 68 to 72 games, let's say. I think the pieces really fit together well. Kerr isn't making a lot of lineup changes. I think he rolls with that lineup. I think, injuries aren't really an issue because there are so many interchangeable players that when GP2 inevitably needs to miss his, 4 to 6 weeks for whatever, then Moses Moody just plays a lot. And it cleans up some of that issue of, well, who's going to play here versus who's not. I think they're going to shoot the 3-ball well. I think the ball movement is good. I think the defense in that scenario is good. It's switchable. It's, tenacious. Like I think, Kerr has kind of set this up. I was joking with you a little bit, Sam, earlier. He has set this up to have this, plucky, deep, defensive-oriented group of grinders that shoot the 3 and all like each other, and the ball movement is good, and
no one could create their own shot.
And they're really equipped to when you're not featuring anybody other than Steph, really, maybe a little bit of Kuminga, but they're really it's Steph's world, and everybody else just kind of lives in it, and it's harmonious, and that their given F level is at a point because everybody's mostly happy that they win a lot of regular season games, because I think the key to the regular season is your given F level, and I think there are going to be some teams that their given F level is down. Lakers, Suns, Denver, I think their given F level is going to be down. Minnesota's could be a little bit down. I think there are a lot of teams that, in that the Warriors can win a lot of regular season games just by being deep and healthy and harmonious and shooting the 3-ball and moving it around and just bringing a defensive intensity most nights that other teams just don't do in the regular season.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they. I don't think those things would be surprises, though, right? I think those are things that they are selling us on. I think that's what they built the team to be around. Do you think there's going to be for that to happen? Do you think what would you think would be a surprise? Like Pod's taking a leap, which I don't know. Anyway, what do you think that would be a surprise?
I think a surprise would be that Kuminga is less a part of it than maybe folks are anticipating. Not to steer it down the negative route. I just think they've built this roster to be less dependent on Kuminga blowing up as the number 2. I think they've built it that way. Now he may do it. He may still become that.
It'd be nice if he did that.
But if he becomes it, I think he's going to become it playing the 4. And he's going to do it in the ways that he's done it when he's been successful. It's going to be dunks. It's going to be layups. It's going to be improved defense. It's going to be transition. It's going to be a lot of those 8 of 10 nights where it's 1 3-pointer, 6 layups, and a dunk. And, it looks, and he's guarding and he's moving the ball. He's making, and it's 25 minutes. It's 20 to 20, it's 25 minutes and it's 16 to 18 points. But if he blows up, I think it's not going to be, oh my God, he looks like Kawhi or Paul George or Giannis. Like that's the part that I think there are a lot of people, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, who think for the Warriors to win at that level that you're talking about, that Kuminga has to be a borderline all-star, or that Podziemski has to look like.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily think that they're built for that to be the case. It may happen, but I think it would happen more organically than by design.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you. I think the general sentiment is for them to get out of the play-in and exceed expectations. One of the young guys has to pop in a way that makes, they don't need to make all-star, but they need to make noise. Everyone's like, "Ooh, look at this. This is the next guy."
And look, I would have thought that a month ago. Right. I would have thought that a month ago, but seeing how the pieces have fit together, and I don't give a damn about the record and all that, but some of the lineups that they've used impressed me much more than I thought they were going to impress me. I was pretty down on, I love the moves that they made, but I was down on the actual upside of how it would all connect in terms of wins. I actually see a pathway where in the regular season,
I agree,
they can win a lot of games just if on the margins, more than I would have thought.
Who's built a better platoon lineup, this year's Warriors or Farhan's Giants?
this year's Warriors. I think it's very similar. It really is.
Yeah.
Is it the 2021 Giants?
The idea of it, I think, is very similar.
I agree. They're a sweet regular season team, which I think is all we should care about.
Is Melton and Pods are the new Wilmer Flores Lamont Wade platoon? Is that what we're talking about?
No. Darren Ruff. Do you remember Darren Ruff and Lamont Wade in 2021?
Yes, of course.
They were. Woo! You put those two together, it's just like having Freddie Freeman at first. It's like the same thing, except for
a playoff game where they don't hit.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
How'd they have 30 home runs from right field and 35 from first base?
But August versus Colorado, no different.
Fuck yeah, man. Fuck yeah. If August versus Colorado comes good for the Warriors right now. It starts on Wednesday against Portland, baby.
I'm gonna do a little rapid fire with you. So don't go deep. Just answer these quick. All right. Buy or sell these things happening.
Okay.
The Kuminga leap.
Sell.
We're calling that 20 points per game.
Okay. I'm going to sell the Kuminga leap.
Okay. Wiggins returning to something reminiscent of 2022.
Ooh.
Give me a percentage of 2022 he has to hit.
Like showing up to work and being a defensive positive and hitting open shots.
80%.
I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna buy that.
All right. Ooh.
We're calling that 75%. Okay.
I'll buy 75%. I would probably not at like 90, but I'll buy 75.
Okay, I'll take it. Draymond locks in seriously.
No suspensions.
No suspensions. No agree. Like 2 games here and there is not a big deal. I'm saying he doesn't have to fucking do a better health ad.
I'm gonna buy it.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna buy it.
All right.
Yeah.
2 for 3.
Management makes a midseason move.
I'm gonna sell on that because trades are hard. I'm gonna sell. Well, I wanted to buy on it, but here, I know you don't want me to go deep, but I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go 30 seconds deep on this. I think they won't. Okay, if things are going badly, then they're not going to want to make a dramatic move. Like, it will be too difficult to make a dramatic move if things are going badly. But if things are going well, so that leads me to, okay, they won't make a move. If things are going well, I feel like there will be a pull of, well, why do we want to break up the chemistry? I love these,
we look really smart right now, and what's more important than us?
I love these guys. We're 40-20. I love these guys. We don't. I can just hear Steve. Everybody likes each other for the first time in 3 years, and we want to trade 3 of these guys away. So I'm going to sell for that reason.
Looney's the moral compass of this team. He's more than just his win-loss value.
I fucking hate it, but I love that I can't stop laughing because I can hear
over
it.
Under. Steve Kerr mentions Looney as the moral compass 3 times this season.
Oh, that's an over. He might not play 3 games and he'd still mention it. He'd still mention it more than 3 times.
Nothing makes me happier than watching Steve Kerr talk about Looney. You could just hear the pain of all the politics he has to manage. He's like, and this guy he never is an issue. I love him so much. It's endearing in a very sick way. Last one for you. Buy or sell, the Warriors get to the second round of the playoffs.
Buy.
Oh,
wow.
Buy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they can win a round. I think they can win a round if it all goes right. So I'll buy it. Why not? I tend to trend negatively, but I'm going to go positively.
Wow.
Apparently, I'm Mr. Negativity today. I don't know what that's all about.
I don't even know if I buy that. I love it. I'm going to go buy it along with you. We're going to go create a little.
What is it? Copium? Like,
No, this would be hopium.
Hopium.
The Niners are copium. The Warriors are hopium.
Hopium.
Big difference. Yeah. So
has the Niners last week or so just made you buy the Warriors more because you just need something at this point?
No, no, not at all. I do think there's the Niners are in major trouble.
Yeah.
Obviously, but they're in a crappy division, so they probably could still win that division at 9-8 as long as they beat Seattle the second time.
Sure.
And that gets them a home game. So, they are destined for getting beat as the 4 by a 5, or maybe winning that game and getting beat in the second round.
Yeah. They're going to Detroit and get walloped, but
exactly.
I'll keep watching, but it's nice to have the Warriors now during the weekdays. I need it. I can't just think about CMC's Achilles 5 days a week. I gotta keep that in the back of my head. So I think is that it? Was that the last one? Sam?
That's the last one for me.
All right.
Yeah.
I do think this Warriors team is going to be more, and again, I would not have said this a month ago, so maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid from camp and watching the different lineups and all of that. But I think they are going to be a more enjoyable watch than they've been either of the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Which I think day to day people will feel better about that. Even if they can't win a title, which I don't think they can win a title with this group.
Yeah.
I'll take the W I can get. JD, appreciate you.
Much love.
Have a great evening, man.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.
Andy, I think we got to pay some bills.
We are Light Years Podcast, brought to you by... Oh. Tell me.
Okay. Now you can tell him.
Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Ooh, look at this one. You get 1 point equals 1 win for Anthony Edwards on Tuesday, opening night. As simple as that. He's got to show up, make a free throw, dunk the layup, 3, whatever it is. You throw that in, you win. That's simple. And you throw that in with a couple other things you could do. There you go. Light Years Podcast, there's your promo code. Sign up today. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like Taco Tuesday, which is, again, tomorrow. Each Tuesday, Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. This weekend on Prize Picks, you go and look at the football board. You got Justin Jefferson, more 83.5 yards. Jordan Mason, more 75.5 yards. Prize Picks, best way to win real money this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones aren't? Make your picks less than 60 seconds. Turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 off instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Light Years Podcast brought to you by GameCast. GameCast is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. The World Series. We got the New York Yankees and the Los Angeles Dodgers. I actually used Game Time. I went watch a Yankees game against the Giants months and months ago now. They used Game Time. Had no idea it would take me an hour and a half to actually get to Yankee Stadium. Popped on the Game Time app as I was getting there. Got in for a really good price, even though I was in New York, which is just as expensive as San Francisco, apparently. So say priority last minute deal, save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Flash deals save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game or event. Zone deals save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. You get all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows the total up front with no surprise fees at checkout. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LIGHTYEARS for $50 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. We got a special guest. We got MT coming up any second now. I'm trying to troubleshoot him. There we go. There we go. I owe the man an apology.
What happened?
Senor? Go to turn on your mic.
Oh.
There we go.
Yeah, man. Can I turn my camera on or no? Jeez.
Please turn your camera on.
I'm trying to. It won't let me.
Just hit the downward next to your
Yeah,
camera.
I know. It's saying awaiting of permissions. I had to get permission from my computer, apparently.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
I appreciate you. I'm sorry. Taking you on a tech wild goose chase right now. That's my bad.
Oh man, it's all good. I felt like a distant cousin who got invited for the reunion.
It does feel. You're, it's 10-year reunion here. Remember the good times. Now we got Steph and a bunch
Warriors
of dudes
media
who
a
hate each
little
other.
different
No,
now.
just
Yeah,
kidding.
Warriors media a little different now too. I don't.
A little different, right?
It's just it's a little. I don't consider myself Warriors media, but it's a little.
Nah, you're just old now. You're just old now, Andy.
Yeah, probably.
Why you not rocking with him, man? Let them youngsters cook, bro.
I didn't say that. I was just saying. I don't really know what's going on nowadays. I'm just here.
He's old. He's old.
Yeah, people get mad at me. I'm 33 now, man. How long have you known me, Marcus? How long have you know me since I was like 24, 25?
Yeah, you were like 13, bro.
So you've known me for 10 years. Marcus, I don't know if you know, but I'm having a kid in like 3 weeks. So you can.
Why would I know that? You don't talk to me. Like, why would I know that? Like, I don't understand. Hey, you wouldn't know this information that I share with my friends.
Sometimes I throw stuff on Instagram, and then Ethan, for example, will text me and be like, "Oh, congratulations!" I'm like, "How do you know?" And I'm like,
Marcus is not chronically online. That's the difference.
Yeah,
you're not on Instagram.
I am not. Hey, but you know what? Congratulations on this incredible, wonderful existence. Welcome to the fellowship, and I hope you're miserable.
He's obviously not. He's not letting people know the name because no one lets people know the name before they're born. And I respect the tradition. But can we get a Marcus Thompson guess on what baby Lou, and he is a boy, will be named?
Easy. Let me see if I can turn an acronym.
Draymond,
like
Chinese baby named Draymond.
I know, right? Nah, you definitely going with like Wardelli or something. It's gonna be something like that. I was gonna name it's gonna be like Sabaro, but I gotta figure out what the ARRO would be because Steph better than Anthony Russ, right? You know what I'm saying? Like,
there's no Kevin
just don't go with Andy. Just don't go with Andy.
For what it's worth, it is not Andy. It is a basketball name. It is not Steph or Cannon. I don't even know where that name comes from, but it is a basketball name, and she's got two shoes. Yeah, not Draymond.
So hold on. When you say it's a basketball name, do you mean like the name of a player, or do you mean like
Spalding Lou?
Like,
it's not Jalen, not Jaden.
Did you name your child Corner 3 or what? Like, when you say basketball name, what do you mean?
Spanish pick and roll.
So I actually told Sam this. It's I didn't tell him the name obviously, but it's an actual name like of a basketball, like of one of the greatest basketball players.
You're saying if I heard the name, the first thing I would think of is this basketball player,
both of them,
and not like
names.
Yeah, don't be like it's Michael, right? It's gonna be like
no.
But
it's like you'll know immediately. You'll be like, oh, like that's a name. So anyway,
I'm going Jeremy.
Magic Lou.
Jeremy's a good one.
I'm going Jeremy.
Yeah, one of the greatest, but I guess you could say he is the greatest Chinese player ever. But
Yao Lu.
Yo, Yao would be crazy. No,
Yao.
We live in America. We live in the peninsula. We can't be named Marcus Yao.
Wow.
All right,
you'd be projecting a little hard, right?
Yeah,
There's a little projection. Marcus, how you feeling about the season right now? I don't know. Does it feel kind of weird? They're back.
I mean, I expected them to be. I didn't expect it to be 3-4 and losing to the Rams and Cardinals. I figured they'd be cruising right now. You know what I'm saying? So this is very weird to me that they're in this spot coming off a Super Bowl.
This is how I know
you're meant Warriors.
Yeah, I knew it.
My fault.
I don't know. We can go in either direction. What do you think of Buster Posey?
That's hilarious. I'm not even gonna say what the quip I had in return. I'm just gonna hold that. I'm just gonna hold that.
Huh? All right. We'll
so I always tell myself I'm not gonna get gassed by the hype. But how do you prevent the hype? Like, how do you prevent the conviction of the people you talk to all the time, right? So I came into this. I went to camp thinking this team is, like this. The whole season comes down to February. Like, what can they do in February? Can they make the move they haven't been able to make? But like watching them play and remembering all those years in the regular season, I don't know why I feel so much more optimistic. Like I feel like they're gonna play they're gonna play defense and they're gonna shoot threes.
Is that just Hawaii though? Because every time I go to Hawaii, I do feel like like I come back from it just I come back refreshed. I come back like thinking, I found Jesus, whatever it may be. I'm a happier person. You wake up, the sun, the beach. You're like, yeah, why can't DeAnthony Melton be an all-star?
I think I like the no all-star route.
Okay.
The hungry, scrappy team. Like they're gonna play defense. They're gonna fly. They're gonna play fast, and they're gonna shoot threes. Which, in most seasons, is exactly the team that ends up winning 48 games and losing in the first round of playoffs. Right? Like that's the formula. They feel like they have the ingredients to be a good regular season team, and then don't let it. Like obviously, nobody's picking them. Well, oddly enough, people are starting to say Warriors to the conference finals, which I think is wild. But to me, what they could be doing is just lowering the bar of what they need in February. Right? That's all. Okay. That's what they could be doing. Like they could be like instead of needing Giannis, right? It's like really you just kind of need a good player to plug in, and I think. Like who? Like Zach LaVine. Like how many times do I have to say this?
I agree.
How many articles have you written about Zach LaVine to the Warriors that you have not been able to publish?
I love it.
I just got the same one. I just keep ready to press in on it. Like nope. I mean, this is like. I mean, look, DeAnthony Melton is my like new Rodney Stuckey. So I do feel like moves like that matter. But to me. They just don't. They may not need like a game changer. They may just need like another piece because what's very clear, by the way, talking to them behind the scenes is there's not a single person expecting a championship this year. Like this is a 3 to get 1 deal, right? You got 3 years to build to get 1, and as long as they take a step this year, then it feels like they'll think that's a success. And I'm telling you, they're pretty convincing, man. It's wild. Like I walk in thinking, Pods shoot 10 threes a game. That's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. I'm not buying it. Then I walk out like, you know what? I mean, look, all's right in the world. Moody won't get minutes, and he deserves them. So you're pretty good. You're a pretty good squad when Moody can't get minutes.
At least he got paid.
That's the only thing. That's the only thing we know. Steve's going to talk about how he's a professional on the podium after he DMP'd him for the 80th time. Yeah, it does kind of feel. It does kind of feel like taking the expectation off, and they're just like, let's just play ball. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we can win some games, and then let's see what that opens up. Instead of like, oh, we're the Dynasty Warriors and expectation.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's tough to flip that switch. It's because it is still Steph Curry. It is still Steve Kerr. It's still Draymond. Like those guys have been there, but it does feel like they're trying to effectively flip that switch to just be like, don't look at us as those guys. Like we're just out here playing and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. They're like, oddly enough, dudes with 4 championships or get to play the underdog card again. Right. Like,
yeah.
And they'll manufacture it. They will think of it. Look, they start the season like in obscurity, right? Like, well, the grand stage of NBA's back is going on. They'll be in like Portland where nobody's watching. So it kind of fits their dynamic. They're just not sexy anymore. Not in the sense of you could put them in the mix. Even last year where I didn't think they would be a real contender, you still had people like on television talking about, I don't know if the Warriors, they can still do it. It's like, yeah, nah, they just don't. They have a fundamental flaw that they still haven't addressed, and it's gonna be to their doom unless they address it. So that's still true. And knowing that now everybody knows, okay, this is a team that could not make the playoffs. It kind of releases the pressure. Steph signed for another year. He's like, this is good. Let's just do this, right? Like. That's to be the ultimate sign of you got 3 years to just fight for a championship, and that they haven't had that in a while. It's been we got to do it this year. We got to do it this year. Matter of fact, the last time they had it, they had it this way was 1920 when it was the D'Lo James Wiseman show, and you had time, right?
Sky Bowman,
Hey, Bowman was nice though. That whole era felt like my childhood with the Warriors, where you end up remembering and falling in love with these players who probably don't even belong in the league, but they hustle, they play hard for you, you like them, they give you a shot some nights, and you just end up rooting for them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you end up like
where is Kai Bowman?
Mr. Jennings is my guys. Not
Eric Paschall.
Eric
I grew up
Paschall,
I grew up liking Reggie Williams. That was one of my favorite, like not favorite players, but like I liked watching him play. Like he was fun, lefty, pass a little bit, shoot a lot. It's God. I hope that's not where the Warriors are at now. But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Not yet. Maybe give him a couple more years. But I hear what you're saying.
Years. Who would be your guy if you were that team? Who's your Keith Mr. Jennings on this team?
Like, you know what? But that's not this team because they got like 13 NBA players. Like they got like
Waters.
Yeah, you go. It's demeaning to him, but Moses Moody is that dude just by virtue.
Come on,
like
Marcus.
He's the player everybody's gonna love because he's gonna do everything the right way. He's gonna play hard, right? Like we was out there, we knew Earl Boykins was not like an all-star, but man, Earl Boykins used to hoop though. Like. And now Moody isn't in that class of player. He's clearly better. But on this team, like that's who he becomes. He becomes like the people's champ. You know what I'm saying?
People root for Moody just because it's like it's clear he should play.
Right.
But he's always getting the short end of the straw.
It's like a good one.
It's like a numbers game. So you end up
and Moody doesn't and also Moody acts like he's 35.
Yeah.
When he's
the other moral compass of the team.
Yeah, it's like
the new moral compass.
It's like, dude, you're too mature for someone.
You're too young to act this mature.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, isn't this like the time-honored tradition of nice guys finishing last? If Moody acted a fool, you know what I'm saying? Like, if he was going crazy, like things would be different. And it's wild that people like even the good guys take advantage of that, right? Like you would think. I mean, Steve is a great guy, right? You would think he's like, you know what? Nah, I'm riding with Moody. I'm riding with the good guy. He's like, nah, I'm riding with the dude who's like,
Hey, Shams, I've lost faith.
Yeah,
I lost faith. That was
that Moody can't even win with the good guys. Like that's the crazy part. It's wild.
He accepted the contract, though.
No, he did.
He took it.
Was it a smart move by him?
I think so.
I don't think.
Well,
does smart?
Does he have an opt out, or is it just 3 straight years?
They said 3 straight.
3 straight, all guaranteed.
I think Jalen Green. You're not Jalen Green. You don't get opt out.
He'll be 25 at the end of this contract, and he'll have banked he'll have banked what, 50 million out of the NBA. It could be worse. Life could be worse than that.
I do get
it
was a very non-emotional move.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if you look at this, like it sounds good. The only way you're getting out of here is to stomp your feet and force a trade, which only lowers your value anyway. So I would say, hey man, don't take the deal and try to get somebody to throw a big offer at you. But if you don't get the minutes, you can't do that.
Yeah, but isn't he like the type of player who, if he got yo-yoed minutes like he did last year, and let's say he's averaging 6 points per game, 15 minutes a game or something like that he's playing on like a veteran minimum next year or something ridiculous like that.
Oh yeah.
If he try you just like look at the way this is going, and it's like, look, man, he's worth more based upon what players of his talent level earn, but it's still a pretty nice paycheck.
No, it's I think it was a very prudent, it was a very Moses Moody move to see the big play. Which is
the chat saying you don't want to end up like Lonnie Walker, but like it's like a good example of a guy who.
What's the big play?
To say, I don't want your money, you're not playing me, I'm gonna force my way out, and then I'm gonna go ball and get a big deal from somebody who actually wants me. You ain't buying it, you ain't feeling it.
I would love it, because if he was that good, they wouldn't trade him. But I would love. Because I think part of the thing is, like Buddy Hield, like, is he really going to play all 3 years with the Warriors? You know what I mean? Andrew Wiggins, Buddy, your time is up. Is he really going to be on the team for another 3 years?
Yeah, but they'll just
Jonathan
get like
Kuminga,
3 more of those guys, though. Like, this was supposed to be the year they made room for him, and then they went out and got 3 more guys. Like,
that would be the move. They turn Wiggins into 2 players who are in front of Moody instead of just 1.
Like, can it just be Moody playing with guys that you've traded for Zach LaVine or Jimmy Butler? Like, well, that would be the best case scenario. But
MT, do you have a breakout candidate this year
on the Warriors? DeAnthony Melton. Did I say that already? My fault.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
As long as his back holds up, I think he's really good. I'm working on a piece of him now. Like, they love him, and
he is good.
It's very difficult to walk into that space, and people already are like, "Hey, yeah, nah, we need him on the court." Like they really like him. He plays he's a guy who is kind of a gunner who passes. Like, it's a weird thing. Like, he'll shoot it, like he'll get it up, but he'll also pass it, which is almost the perfect balance of Warriors basketball. You can never be afraid to shoot. As a matter of fact, you got to have enough moxie to go and shoot, on the court with Steph Curry. But then you also have to be willing to pass. And that's a very difficult balance between the two. I mean, I think one of the reasons, I think if Moody wanted to play more, he'd probably pass more, right? But it's hard to be in that aggressive mindset and then also pass. But Melton, he just kind of sits in that space really perfectly. And if he shoots 38, 39, 40% from 3, like that's just money. And one of the issues that they have, and the reason Wiggins is so important to them, is because they just need somebody to guard point guards, right? And now they got another body who can do it. And if Wiggins misses 10 games for whatever reason, they got somebody who can do it. And if Gary Payton II goes out again, they got somebody who can do it. Like, he just feels like a piece that really fits what they do. So I'm going with him, even though Buddy Hield clearly doesn't miss. So it's a wild thing to watch. Although he said I jinxed him for the last game because I asked him like, is he going to shoot 60% from 3? Like, is this normal? And he's like, yeah, it's normal. But he told me basically he wants me to treat him like a pitcher pitching a no-hitter. He's like, man, shut up. Don't ask about it. So then I asked him about it.
Nice. I respect it.
Yeah, he's like, man, why you asking? Like, just let it go, man. Why just leave it alone? I'm like, we can't leave alone 59% from 3. Like, if you shoot that during the regular season, we asking you every day. Like, what you mean leave it alone? And then he goes 2 for 9, and he soon as he walk in the locker room, he's like, look what you did. Like he blamed me for it. But if he's shooting like that, and the crazy part, you know how it is, you get looks in the Warrior system. You're gonna get looks. You'll get shots. This ain't Joel Embiid out there right? Where you just pound.
No, this is the best possible situation for him. Like if you're a shooter, this is gonna bring the best out of you.
Yeah, if he's gonna make the shots, and you got he's a funny dude too. Like they've had so many of these guys come in, and they're like, you see them like their personality, and you're like, oh, he's confident, he's this, and then they get to the Warriors and they're shook. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well,
he's not shook. Like he's just kind of quirky in that way, where he's like, yeah, I'm Buddy Hield, man. What you talking about? This is what I do.
So a couple things. Number one, I stumbled onto Buddy Hield Oklahoma highlights a couple nights ago, and I loved it. I forgot this is back when I watched college basketball. I forgot how sick he was at Oklahoma. Yeah, he was.
He was off the ball a lot too. That's what I mean. On the ball more than I remember. Like he could like do some things. I thought he was just like off the
college baby. Like Klay used to dribble the ball in college. And then the second thing I think is, I mean, it's a difference though, right? It's not like KD standing there. You know what I mean? Not like Iguodala standing there. You know, it's kind of a team that's going to win 44 games. You know, Hield's probably coming in. Huh?
It's the mystique though.
It's still Steph.
It's still Steph Curry. Yeah, it's still Steph Curry there.
Yeah.
Hey, in the end, though, do any of these guys make opponents say, "Steph, we're giving you 3 defenders"?
No. They don't change that calculus at all.
It'd have to be Kuminga. It'd have to be Kuminga. So.
It would have to, and I think it's going to take Kuminga. He's going to have to like have a monster month for people to be like, okay, let's go. Let's devote some attention.
One guy off Steph, just 4 on him. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
4 on him and 1 on this guy.
All right, maybe we'll put 1 guy. Actually, I'm gonna take Sam. I'm gonna take this one. But like Kuminga, what are your thoughts? I think everyone's having thoughts on Kuminga right now with the contract that he's not going to sign. Warriors didn't offer it, whatever. But what are your thoughts on him coming up? Kind of a make or break season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is. I think Kuminga is a really good player and probably better than a lot of the younger players out there. But man, fit is everything, and he's almost the perfect embodiment of how important fit is. You know, Steve Kerr thinks he's a 4, and he can't play 3. Draymond thinks he's a 3 because he can't play 4, and he certainly can't play 5, right? And he's not a 2. And in a system where you got to handle, make decisions, move, like this, it just feels like it's not tailored for him. Now, I could 1,000%, and I'm sure Joe Lacob feels the same way, see this dude getting traded to another team and being a monster. Like, he's got the tools. So I'm curious if the space, the pace, right, that they want to play at, the tempo, and his kind of freedom to be aggressive, like with no Klay Thompson who needed to be fed, like, you know, and then even Wiggins is like, I think behind Kuminga on the like he eating after Kuminga. Like Kuminga, if there's 3 pieces of big chicken, Kuminga's getting 1 of them, right? Like you might be getting 2 actually.
Yeah. Well, Steph getting 2, Kuminga getting 1.
I was thinking Steph and Draymond. They're like, actually, Kuminga's getting that second. Oh no, my fault. Like he's getting 3. Podziemski's getting the second piece of chicken just because he's gonna take a charge on whoever tries to get it, and then he'll get it. So, but like, I feel like he could have a big year numbers wise. The 2 questions for him is fit and whether great Kuminga impacts winning in the way the Warriors needed to. Because you could see, like, I mean, I forgot. I didn't even peep. He averaged over 16 points last. That's a lot. That's a lot, dude. That's not
on efficiency. Like he shot nearly 60% on 2s. Like you could say all he did was dunk, but literally no one else on the team does that, man.
And he gets to the free throw line. Like
exactly.
These are important. Like he can manufacture points. If they are, I mean, because if you really look at it, they don't have this, like they got the system, but they don't really have the pieces for it. Like they needed to play a different way. So if it is defense, running, and shooting 3s, and I know they don't like Kuminga shooting a lot of 3s, but he almost needs to just, you know, he's got to punish teams by volume. Even though I do think he's shooting at a good rate, but it doesn't matter if he gets 11 3s, right? And he makes 4 of them. Like 4 still hurts. Like it still hurts. So you still got to get out there because he's got to make it. If you get enough volume, he can develop a rhythm. So as long as he just can be free, I think he'll be really good. I just don't know as it pertains to how it fits with the Warriors. It would change so much if he guarded point guards. It would be everything if he was just really good at locking up opposing point guard. But that's just a tall order for a dude who's so young.
Well, it's hard for he's not
the funny thing is
it's a wing guarder, not a point guarder for his body type anyway.
You know, I don't even know that I agree with that, but like
it's
the thing
true.
I think,
what
the thing
it's true.
Well, okay, he's
look
not
at his
good.
size.
Sure, but like the same could be said for Wiggins. You know,
Wiggins is tinier and quicker though.
Yeah, Wiggins is, and he's.
I mean, he gets cooked by small
he's
guards
definitely
too.
more like agile. Like it's more like bendable and like that kind of like thing you got to do around screens when you're guarding a guy. Like Wiggins can do that. Whereas Kuminga is like that dude is built, bro. Like Kuminga is built.
I hear both of you, and he's kind of got a higher center of gravity. He's thicker, like all around. But I do think it's funny because I think Steve and Draymond are both right. You know, that's the fundamental issue. Steve's like he can't play the 3 because he's thinking about it offensively, and he's like he's right. He's not a 3 offensively. It's not a skill set. And Draymond's looking at him. He's going, you can't play the 4 defensively. That's not the way he is because that's the way he sees the game. And you know that's kind of what makes it annoying that they didn't go out there and get a stretch 5 to you know go get a Lowry Markkanen or whatever, you know, something like that, just to give him the versatility to play him both ways. But it is what it is at this point. So,
yeah, I mean, really, it is. And, you know, he got to be able to do it anyway because when you get to the playoffs, they're not just going to let you play. So if he is going to be a winner, like he's got to learn how to play against these defenses, you know.
Sure.
But I do feel like they need somebody who can get to the rim and draw fouls. Like that, like that's a vital part. That's why I was going for Rodney Stuckey all the years. Very high free throw rate. Got to the line. And you don't know nothing about that. You got to get to the line. It's not all about jacking up threes.
I like
basketball.
No, I don't know if I liked Rodney Stuckey, but I saw the vision. The thing is, they need that now more than they needed it then. That's for damn.
I mean, at this point, they just need someone who can do anything to create an advantage on offense.
Absolutely.
So, like, Kuminga, I keep focusing on, and he frustrates me. And part of me is like, how on earth did you not sign that contract? Like, are you insane? But he is the only guy outside of Steph who has any skill set where you're like, oh, I could see a world in which he's dominant enough that it forces the defense to change their coverage. Like he's getting downhill so aggressively that they want to change their coverage.
Like you can't just put anybody on him. Like you got to put the right guy on him.
He makes you actually adjust. Whereas like, look, I like Melton. I like Slow-Mo. They're all good players. I promise you, no coach is being like, we got to change our coverage. You know, Slow-Mo's killing us. You know?
Yeah, no, they're capable of taking advantage of defense's mistakes. Like they can do that. Like, but they're not gonna make a defense change. Like Kuminga, I think Kuminga can do that. I wonder if he'll have it's gonna require a lot of patience, man. Like they just don't have patience. They don't. And now we'll see if they do because like we know what this is. Like they're not playing for the Larry O'Brien, right? So it's like maybe you could be patient, but it's gonna take that. Like scoring in the NBA is just not easy. It's just not easy.
I'm with you. Like I don't know if he will do it, but I think he is their best shot. Like he's the most likely can. Like Moses Moody's probably not going to turn into Klay Thompson, you know? So like, and we can go down the raw. The one that commanded double teams. We haven't talked about Klay real quick. How are you with? What are your thoughts on him in Dallas these days?
I thought it was a rough choice. I didn't like the choice.
Okay.
To me,
we're aligned then.
In order for Dallas to work, he would have to become the player he didn't want to become for the Warriors. And it was like he was like, nah, man, I want to be Klay. Like, nah, I'm Klay Thompson. You know what I'm saying? And then he went to a place with two guys who dominate the ball. So it's like, I mean, all Klay, hey, stand in the corner, be a 6-man, pick your spots, like get it in the flow. And now he's just going to be over there like posted, waiting for Kyrie and Luka. So if he's fine with that, if somehow doing that there sits better with his spirit, then I think he'll be good. But if he goes over there thinking like, nah, hey, hold up, like I'm Klay, I got this, it's going to be a worse problem because now they're playing for a championship. Like they brought him for a championship, and that's going to be disappointing if he can't deliver it.
I wonder if what you're saying, it does work for him mentally. He's mentally prepared to play that role with Dallas. Then it just reinforces like it was
time to go.
It was never it was time. And I it's what I think to begin with. I think it was always going to be time. Just watching, I mean, just look at his body language. Look at the stuff you'd have to hear from Steve and some of the players around him, and some of the stuff you'd hear in the locker room. I mean, it wasn't just like last season. It was like the Jordan Poole season when he came back and started and Poole had to go to the bench and stuff like that. So this wasn't a one season thing. Felt like it was going to become that. I think what the saddest part of this is if the Warriors are going to play hey, let's just try to make the playoffs and just build good memories and we're just for the vibes. It'd have been nice to see the big three, go out into the sunset, because at the end of the day, it's like if you're arguing that it's just, shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic, like what's the difference between them having Klay and none of these other guys and just winning 45 and then them doing all this shit this offseason? They're gonna win 45 anyway, right? That was the only thing. But yeah, I think end of the day, Klay was like, "Oh, forget it. I can't." I mean, he said it, right? It was reported. Yeah. Steph, don't even bother asking.
Yeah, don't do it. Yeah. I mean, he wanted a certain amount of love, and like someone said in the comments, it's so much. It's just easier to accept that role in a new place. Yeah. If you're a fan of Klay, you should be worried about the fit. Like it's a worrisome. Like Luka's hard, man. It's not easy.
Everything looks good on paper until he's giving Jason Kidd a death glare about you, and no one's gonna have your back because you're not Game 6 Klay to them. You're just a hired gun. So, and
when you go to the finals and lose, and then you're the guy they sign, like nobody's okay with a second round exit. Like,
you need to make them better, not
absolutely.
Even you're the scapegoat if they're the same. Which they probably will be, honestly. Like, just looking at
might
them,
even be worse. Like, I can see at Minnesota, Oklahoma City in the West Finals easily, right? And Dallas didn't.
Probably don't should make be. It.
Yeah. So I could see it. I just hope I hope he has enough. He finds enough peace to be okay with whatever it is. But man, I mean, like, look at how they play. Like, it's Kyrie, it's Luka, it's Kyrie. Like, nobody else is touching the rock. Like, you better catch and shoot that thing. And then Hardy's actually pretty good. So for somebody else, what's his name? Jalen Hardy. Man, that dude can shoot it. Like they've got some players over there who makes you think, I don't know. Lakers might have been a better fit. Like there's nobody who could do it.
He can be a Laker in 12 months. That's my prediction for you right now.
You've said that before.
I think the trade's come. I feel like a hater. Actually, yeah, I'm being a hater. But I think I felt the same way you feel. And I think he's going to end up getting moved after 1 year for the fit isn't that. I think we're in his Westbrook phase of his career where he's on a new team every year. It's honestly, that's how most guys' careers go. Like what Steph's doing is rare. Most guys can't deal with their own mortality. The end's a little ugly. And we all forget about it in 2 years anyway. Like when he comes back to Chase, he's gonna be. No one's gonna
remember this.
No, all Andy and I are gonna be doing is talking about how he fucking bailed everyone out in 2016 in OKC. So that's just life. That's just life.
Yeah, I feel it. I agree with you. It won't matter in the end. Go get. Look, I feel you on Steph. I love Steph, but it's a little easier to swallow when you get $50 million every year. Like my man signed for $60 million. Like, all right, like, it could be worse, Steph. That's all I'm saying.
I guess, and no one's gonna blame him, and everyone's gonna be like, Joe Lacob, blah, blah, blah. This is all right. I guess I'll show up to work and try today.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, look, I tried to get it out. I was talking to Steph, and he was very like, he has a way about him where I can tell when he don't want to say it. He just won't say it. But I was trying to get him like, hey, is this your last 3 years? Like, why would you just take the 3? Why not take the 4? Right? Like, I mean, you got 4 on the table. You gonna be 40. Like, what you doing? Setting up your next deal after this? Like, I ain't get it. But like, he wouldn't want to say the part that I was thinking. Like, hey man, I'm saying like, Steph, isn't this great? You get to ride out your career. You get $50 million. You got the Olympics. Like, life is good. You don't need nothing else. A straight a new era, but he still wants to win it. I think he wants to get 5, though. I really do think they want it. They all love Kobe. Yeah. They want to match Kobe with the 5. So there's no question he really wants to get 5. But if he doesn't get 5, he's the highest paid player in the NBA for the next 3 years. Like,
yeah, but you know what happens? If he somehow gets 5, if they somehow figure this out the next year, it's gonna be like, MJ got 6 though. I got to see if I can. So, right. but that's
gonna be 46. Russell got 8. Like,
let's stay at 5.
It's the Tom Brady. It's the Tom Brady, right? Or you're just like,
nah.
For that to happen, Podziemski and Kuminga better take
big
about
pods,
4
big pods here.
All right. Yeah. So who you got? If you're a defensive coach, are you game planning the Warriors, and your best player is obviously on Steph, your best defender. Who are you putting your second best defender on?
I'm saying go out there and hunt your shot because you don't have to guard anyone.
A lot of help defense. A lot. We're playing.
A lot of base defenses with rotation.
A lot of box and 2. Triangle and 2. A lot of triangle and 2. I mean. Probably, it's got to be Kuminga. There's literally no other.
Kuminga, he does one thing at an elite level, which, like, I like Pods, Melton, all those guys. They're like jack of all, master of none offensively, right? Like, they're good.
Moody.
Yeah. So
CMJ 037 got the correct answer. Like, I'm also putting the second best defender.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That's the correct.
The answer might be Buddy. Honestly.
When he's on the floor,
he's good.
Hey, who you start?
If he's feeling okay, we're ending on this. Starting lineup. Who's your lineup prediction?
Steph, Dre, Kuminga, Wiggs. Just because Kerr's bent towards defense and rebounding. I'm going Looney.
Nice,
dude. What
the moral compass?
You're sick. Are you serious?
I think Melton's gonna start. I just don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think they want Draymond playing starting the center. I just don't think they want that.
So we had JD on, and he basically
but there's
said,
no other way to.
Don't play him.
No other way to
fill
fill those guys without it.
You cannot play Kuminga at the 3 with Draymond and Wiggins
and Lou.
That's insane.
Watch when Wiggs shoot 40% from 3. Will it be insane?
No, it'll still be insane.
Yeah. Or if you does he really go a whole season without starting the center? Is that what you're telling me?
Draymond's the best center in the league.
I think. I don't know, man. I do mix and match. Wiggins will miss 15 games, and Kuminga will miss some here and there, and I think that's how it's gonna go, man.
If you have to make the hard decision, let's just say you go with Steph and either Buddy Hield or Melton at 2, right? And you got Draymond at 4, and I
think you're right. I think the hard decision is gonna be Trace gets kicked to the bench, even though like he fits what they need more. I don't think they want to deal with the politics of like Kuminga is going to be disappointed coming off the bench, and Wiggins, you're probably going to lose him if you start doing that too. So it's like, whereas like Trace is going to still play hard. He's going to still do his thing. So I think they're going to go small to start, even if I agree with both of you that it's like sustainable. That's probably not the move long term.
So Steph, Melton,
Wiggins, Kuminga, Draymond.
So you don't make the hard choice of starting TJD and sitting Wiggins?
No, no, and because like I don't really love Kuminga at the 3, but I just think this is where they're gonna land. That's their best lineup. It's just on a lineup they can use.
Correct. I agree. There's no good answers. You're either don't have enough offense or don't have enough defense.
Either way goes.
Don't have enough spacing. There's no good
That's
answers.
why you just go with the guys who brought you there. Loon, Dre, Wiggs starting. The other two is like Steph and who you got? It's got to be Kuminga. There you go.
That's crazy.
That's a wild lineup.
That's insane. Like I'd probably rather see Pods in there. Honestly, like it's just. But then it's like now you don't have enough defense. You've got 2 short guys at 1 and 2, right? It's like who are you guarding? I
think Wiggs might end up the odd man out. Especially if Melton can guard. Not to start the season, but at some point, if Melton can guard point guards, and he's making his 3.
They do, Marcus.
They do. I know.
They need them all. They need them all to morph into one player. That's what they need.
They do. And the crazy part is they need them all the ball because come February they need them to be valuable. So
yeah. MT. Okay. Appreciate you as always.
I got news coming on Warriors Plus Minus pod for everybody asking. So,
what's the news?
Am I the new host?
I'm not telling you. This is all about light years, man. I'm not gonna steal the thunder from a competitor. I'm not that type of person. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have you replaced TK?
News is coming, man. News is coming.
I'm assuming it's back, and if it is back,
I hope so.
I'm grateful. I'm a fan of all you guys.
News is coming. Yeah, people will not stop asking about Warriors Plus Minus. It was insane, but yeah, we got some info covered. We got something in the works. It's about to happen.
I like the smile. That makes me happy. At least in some way, it'll be back. That's good.
Yeah, it's a great. I'm a great poker player. I appreciate the invite. I guess I'll see y'all about next year. That's when y'all invite me next year.
Oh man, come on.
Oh my god,
you have my number. You know.
Appreciate it. I'm glad, man. Y'all had 2 black people on the show today. The JD.
We got Dumas coming up. We got 3. Yeah, we got 3.
3.
JD, John Dickinson, Marcus, and Jason.
At what point is John Dickinson black?
Is he?
Yeah, where's this?
You're gonna play this.
I'm saying we got 2 black people on the show today, right?
Oh no,
me and Dumas.
Oh no,
I don't count.
Proud. This is a thing. Have you ever had 2 black people on light years?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, it's a historic moment.
Okay. So we are the pioneers of sports media. If you really think about
it, when you really think about it, I agree with that. I agree with that. No, I actually agree with that. Y'all, you 2 have categorically and fundamentally, like history should remember y'all as the people who took journalism out of this stuff. You know what I'm saying?
So that's some passive aggressive.
Hey, clip that. No, I like that. Clip that one. Clip that one. Look at that, and we got real journalists. Real journalists.
Hey, Dumas, we making light years history, man. There's 2 black people on here. This is the most non-white podcast I think I've been on in a long time. Like this.
Oh man, that's funny.
All right, there you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like we out here. All right.
What are we missing?
Good. No, we good.
Brown. We're missing Brown. We'll get that one. We'll get a caution one of these days.
All right, y'all.
Marcus, like I'm out.
I'm great.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
Before we get moving.
Do we have another?
No, I gotta do it myself here. All right.
Okay.
For everyone joining us, presented by Prize Picks. Deposit $5 and get $50 match with the promo code. Welcome to hour 2 of Light Years. Andy Lou, you're going strong here. We got our guy. We got our Jason Dumas here. By the way, shout out and congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
This is your last week in the Bay Area.
Yeah, well, last week, I'm 2 more weeks about here. Last week on Crondo. My last day is the 24th.
Okay.
Why are you leaving? Is it because of the bipping and the burglaries and come on, man? Just
The doom loop finally got
last.
to him. The doom loop finally got to him.
Couldn't handle it. Couldn't handle the mean streets of San Francisco.
Bro, I'm getting a raise to go live somewhere cheaper where my mom and dad are and sister and brother. So
congratulations.
It was kind of a no-brainer. I love it here, though, man. I said it on Twitter today. I'll give my little goodbye on Thursday, but I love it here as a home. This is my wife's from here. I'm actually in my in-laws' house right now. We had to move out our little our home in the city, so I'm out on the peninsula. I'm near you, Andy.
Oh,
I'm in Foster City.
Oh, that's where my
Are you starting to? I can hear it in your voice. You're starting to be like, shit. It's real. You're getting a little nostalgic, huh?
Very real. Very real. I'm gonna miss it for sure, and I'm gonna miss this beat too. Covering the Warriors is never a dull moment.
Who are you gonna cover? Just standard Philly teams.
Yeah, all Philly teams. So, we're
Eagles,
smack
Philly.
dab in the middle of the football season. Probably heavy on the football and then All-Star break probably will be heavy on the Sixers after All-Star.
Yeah. I mean, Embiid ain't gonna show up too. Actually, I don't know. Who knows? Might not show for.
You let us know the first time Paul George murmurs I made a mistake. I should go.
Right now, dude. Right now.
I think he wanted to go to the Warriors. I think they tried to make that happen. It just I don't think Lawrence Frank over there wanted him to come to the Warriors, and he made sure of it. That's at least what I was told.
Disgust me.
It's always easier with pure free agency than having to get other parties involved.
When someone has to, people don't like helping the Warriors. They just don't, believe it or not.
You sound like Kirk. You sound like Kirk right now.
That is what they said. He could have just thrown Kuminga in the mix and maybe got the deal done, but whatever. Whatever. Oh. We're here to talk about Warriors. Positive Warriors. Positive Warriors. I think. I don't know, Sam.
I like talking with Jason because he's not a unabashed, born and raised Bay Area homer. So he can make me metaphorically touch grass and be realistic.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with this. All right. Warriors lose Klay Thompson. They make a couple smart, savvy veteran signings. They don't make a sexy move. They probably should have made a big move. It didn't happen. How are you viewing this Warriors team in just context of the NBA as a whole? Where are they?
So going into the preseason, or should I say once the offseason was over and all the dust has settled and the Warriors found out they were not going to get marketing and all that stuff, I was kind of pessimistic. I'm thinking, you know what? They might be marginally better than last year, but they're still a team with one superstar and a bunch of guys who are just guys, really. A roster full of NBA players, but nobody really to separate themselves. Steve Kerr just has too many mouths to feed. If he doesn't play Kuminga 25 minutes one night, people yelling at him. Then they're yelling at him because Muzi don't play. Then his buddy Hield and his Melton. It's just a bunch of guys. I don't think they're going to separate themselves from the pack. But after watching the preseason, I am a little more optimistic. I like the way they're playing. The ball's not sticking at all. It's moving. They're hitting shots. So obviously to play the way they're playing and take so many threes, you got to be shooting it at a respectable clip. And they are right now. They were in the preseason. So if they can be a team that hits a lot of threes, moves the ball on offense, and just hustles, I kind of like them to be maybe a scrappy 5-6 seed. But then, the floor is pretty low too. If there's some injuries, people go in shooting slumps, Steph gets hurt for a little bit, then you're looking at last year, he's 11, 12, and so things have to go right, but I do think everyone is bought in. I think the fact that Klay Thompson isn't around anymore might help the locker room. And just it's just the truth, I know it's people hate hearing that, but it was not a good situation last year. you're not going to be, things aren't going to be great when you're not having fun at work. And when someone is like constantly like, and there's just like, you can fucking cut the tension with a knife, it's going to affect everything. Nobody's going to speak on it. Obviously, with the context and the history there made it even more awkward. If that was a third-year player, he would have gotten traded. He got to get out. But the way it happened with Klay, obviously, was via free agency. And Klay said thanks, but no thanks. But the Warriors, what's understood doesn't need to be said. Klay knew it. Klay knew, like, yeah, they might give him a ceremonial offer after everything else falls through, or after they try plan A, plan B, plan C.
Yeah.
You said it earlier, Andy. It was like, if they're going to be a 45-win team, at least be a 45-win team with the three amigos. I think that's what they thought, but after they saw everything else through. And Klay didn't even want it to get to that point. But the fact remains that Steve has said it without saying it. I think we're better off.
Yeah. You can hear it.
I also kind of respect him for walking a little bit, just from the look. He didn't want that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to work out for him the way he thinks it is. But you know what? He at least had the gumption to be like, you know what? I don't want this. I'm going to go try something new. So it works better for both sides. In some
was it gumption or was it a temper tantrum, Sam? Which one? Which one? Was
it depends on what time of day you find me, right?
Felt like Klay was like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Forget it. You know, the Warriors went back to him. Here, we want to give you the money. You didn't give it to me in the first place. I'm big.
All right, Jason.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Let's say the Warriors win 52 games, which is above the Vegas average. Everyone would call that a big success. That's probably gonna put them as the 3-4 seed. What happens to make that happen? If it is April and they won 42 games, what things broke their way?
They're shooting the leather out of the ball all season. And I mean, they have guys who can historically spread the court. I mean, you got Buddy Hield and Steph, obviously. Melton can shoot the ball too. Maybe that's a sign that Moody breaks into the lineup and actually shoots it at a high clip, because like Moody was known as a shooter through his entire high school and the short college career. Like Moody had a flamethrower. It's kind of been inconsistent as a pro, but it's also hard to blame that consistency because, you know, you get spot minutes and your confidence is wavering. And you're probably getting in and you're overthinking because you don't want your coach to pull you out of the game. But maybe if he gets a longer rope, and they just paid him in a little bit, so maybe they will give him a little more grace. But I think they really just have to shoot the ball really well, be that team that's going to just, you know, they're going to score more points than the other team just because a lot of their field goals are coming from behind the arc. That's what I think could separate them. I don't really see a pathway like at all to them being a good defensive team. But, you know, they could hide that if they don't turn the ball over, if they limit runouts by the other team. And then if they're just scrappy, you know, Steve said today, I asked him a question like, what does this team have to hold its hat on to be good? And he mentioned the 3-point shooting, but he just like, I mean, it sounds elementary, but we have to work harder than everybody else. Like the last couple of years, we weren't the team that was getting all the loose balls and the scrappier team. And in some cases, we were the softer team, but that can't be this group. And, you know, if Wiggins is locked in, he can be a scrappy guy and he can be a point of attack defender. Melton is a guy who's always going to be hustling and making the right play. GP2 stays healthy. He's another guy who kind of just does the dirty work. You know, it's just they have to be that kind of team, that like cute team that might overachieve in the regular season, but then when they get in a playoff setting and they get, your coaches are actually paying attention to the scout and game planning, they might be, they might get they might get exposed. That's what
we'll worry about that if they make it there. But yeah. I feel I agree on the shooting. This is the first time that was my bad, Sam. This is the first time I think. When was the last time the Warriors had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 5+ guys that can actually shoot a three and people care about them shooting the ball? I don't. Steph, KD, Klay, and I don't know, those teams.
They've never been an egalitarian
Nick Young
team.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like their first, because they've always been we got 2, and when they had KD, 3 of the greatest shooters of all time, and everyone else should think twice before shooting a ball and pass it and do that. And I get it. When you have those type of guys, you should do that. Now, Steph, but everyone else is proverbial 38, 37% shooter. They're a normal NBA team, right? So I'm curious.
You have Looney saying he's going to try to stretch the floor.
Bro, I hope.
We haven't seen him in the preseason yet, though, huh? I haven't really seen him. Did I miss it?
It's fun. It's fun to joke about, but all I had to see was Steve talk about it once to be it's not happening.
Yeah. Right.
What did he say? I missed that one.
He's just oh, we don't want him taking those shots. If he's wide open and no one's near him, you can maybe let it rip. I'm okay. That means he's never shooting the ball.
All right, Steve.
Yeah. It's the end of the shot clock. I was end of the shot clock was the tell.
He said maybe in half court you can shoot it.
Yeah.
Buzzer.
All right, Jason, I got a couple. Let's do a quick buy or sell round.
Yes.
So I want your takes on this. I'm going to throw some takes at you. You tell me. All right. Kuminga leap, and we're going to define this as he's averaging 20-ish points. It's kind of arbitrary, but we all know he takes a leap. Are you buying or selling it happening this year?
Buying.
Ooh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
I'm just gonna. I know he's been working. He's been working, and the only thing I could see him getting in his way is himself, his feelings. He didn't get an extension, but and with him, he's a young guy. What way does he go? Is he pissed off? Does he sulk, or does he channel it in a way where he's all right, I'm going to make it known that I should have gotten my extension, and I'm going to put my foot on their neck now. I'm going to have a year to where they're probably going to have to let me walk because I'm going to price out of their budget. So I think, every time he's challenged Steve Kerr, he's played pretty well. And he just has,
I respect it. I respect it.
So, yeah, I think Kuminga's going to have a pretty good year. I do.
Okay. All
right. Buy or sell. Wiggins returning to some facsimile of 2022.
Punt. So it just
Tommy turned off his camera. That's how bad it was.
Guys, at some point,
I couldn't handle that answer, man. That was wild.
At some point, we gotta trust our eyes. It's it's been 2 years, and even that year was kind of an anomaly. That was his best year as a pro. So, he might not be as bad as he was last year, but 2 years ago, Wiggins, I don't see that coming back. I think that was kind of a flash in the pan. So many things happened at the right time. He was motivated, didn't have personal issues going on. The team was kind of rallied around him. The vibes were great. I just think those days are past him. He was always kind of known as a guy to mail it in and just kind of be aloof. He's there, but he's not there. Even before all the stuff off the court and, some of the hardships he's faced. He was known for that before then.
Oh, I remember.
So it's we just someone shows you who they are. And this is in a basketball sense, obviously. Wiggins is a great dude personally off the court. But in a basketball sense, he has showed us who he is countlessly. Just believe it. This is who Andrew Wiggins is.
All right. I'm buying, by the way. I'm buying. But keep going.
Well, so someone's got to drink the hopium. Speaking of showing them who you are, Draymond, you buying? He's locking in seriously this year, or are Andy and I going to be debating him choking someone out and justifying it?
I think he'll be better this year. It was like couldn't get. Yeah, I'm buying. It couldn't. I mean, like from that standpoint, from availability standpoint, it couldn't have got much worse than last year. It was one thing after another. I don't think it'll be like that. That's just more. That's just more because I don't think it could get much worse. If it's like last year or worse, that's probably when you seriously start asking yourself, I'm talking from the front office, is it
even worth it? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it even worth it?
Fair enough. All right. Last one. Do the Warriors make a trade midseason? That's a sell. Okay.
Sell.
Yeah.
We should have done this with Marcus. That's so good.
Theoretically, they should. But it's hard to say because there's just so many factors. What their record is at the time. Like, if they're playing well, are they of the mindset like we're playing well, so we just need one more piece to even put us over the top? Or are they of the mindset like we're playing well, like this is all we need? It's hard to say. And then if they're playing bad, it's like, do they even bother? I don't know. I think they tried really hard this offseason to make a trade and they couldn't make it happen. I don't really know what would change during the season. But we're hearing the same things we heard last year. Like, we have so many mouths to feed and there's so many guys. We're a deep team. And I view having a deep NBA team as like a team with two quarterbacks. Like, if you have two, do you really have one? Like, they're deep, but what does that really mean? Like, so who cares? Only 5 people can play. You need like 2 really, really good players out of the 5 on the court, like at all times. And they only have 1 really good player on their roster. So cool. They might have 1 really good player on the court and like, 4 average to slightly above average players. That's probably not better than a team with 2 all-stars or 2 superstars. It's just probably not.
Which is, I think, to your point earlier about I think people have said this, and I think the team, is planning on this, is that they're just going to steal regular season wins this year based on depth. Like, they're just going to beat some of these teams because they've got Kyle Anderson and Moses Moody as their 9th guy. And Moses Moody going to go for 18 in 18 minutes. And
they just play harder. They just play harder than you on
play harder.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. They will. They should. They better. Outside of Steph and Draymond, everybody should be playing hard all the time. Honestly, just outside of Steph, maybe. Draymond should be playing hard. What are we doing here?
Draymond, you've cost us enough time. Just bust your ass over there. Yeah. Oh. All right. We're going to send you off with this one. I need to know, what is the difference between covering sports in the Bay Area and Philly?
Ooh.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, technically, I can't really answer that yet. I have never covered sports in Philadelphia. Haven't started yet. But, just from afar and, viewing the landscape in Philly, I definitely think the media is a little harsher. They hold people accountable a little more, for better or for worse. Like, it just depends what type of person you are. Like, this has been a polarizing topic the last 2 years, but journalists in Philly would have, Steve Kerr would have had to give a little more than this a personal reason once we got to like month 3 of Andrew Wiggins just kind of being MIA. Whether you think that's right or wrong, irrelevant. That's just probably what would have happened. That's about it. That's about it. From the fans' perspective, both fan bases are very, very passionate. Philly gets the worst rep of the two in terms of like, and probably deservedly so. But like, I've been in Levi's Stadium. It's not so much Chase Center, but I've been at Oracle, old Oracle. Like, people get crazy. People get pretty vile here too. So from a fan standpoint of view, I think it's more or less kind of the same. I think the media holds the athletes, the coaches, front office, they hold them to the fire a little bit more over out east. I think that's just a product of the East Coast. New York, Boston, they're kind of the same way.
Yeah.
Nick Sirianni. You about to fucking feel it right now.
fraud scale 0 to 10. Nick Sirianni.
Man, I was always a fan of his, but he's just like the week by week been kind of making it harder and harder.
It's time.
You're melting down after a game, going back and forth with a fan. It's crazy. It's like you wonder if he has the temperament to be a coach in a city like that when you're just doing that. It's just like, who cares what he said? Like, you're a coach making $1 million and you have 8 billion cameras on you. Just be smart enough to maybe just walk into the tunnel.
Crazy. Kyle Shanahan, like, Niners fans, I complain about Kyle Shanahan, but believe you me, keep him. Keep Kyle Shanahan, man. You are going to win a lot of football games, because the alternative is you end up with a Jim Tom Sewell or a Nick Sirianni. I think I will pass. So
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Jason, appreciate you, man.
No doubt.
Good evening.
Hey, tomorrow, Sports Night Live, we'll have an exclusive with Brandon Pajemski. We did the interview today.
Ooh.
It's a good one. It's a good one. He talks about whether he wants to start, what his personal goals are this season.
Triple-double?
Very forthcoming. He's a very confident guy, I'll tell you that.
So people say.
Very forthcoming. But it kind of gave me insight as to, I was dead set on Pajemski starting just because of how Steve is and how he's such a
sure.
Steve player.
I thought that in May, June too.
Based on Pod's convo, it sounds like he might have kind of gotten tipped off that he won't be starting. So you can catch that tomorrow. I'll put blurps on Twitter and stuff.
Oh
too.
yeah. Okay.
Appreciate you. We'll be watching that.
All right, fellas.
Thanks, man. Take care, brother.
Appreciate y'all.
Have a great evening. Let's pay some bills. Let's see what Tommy has to say.
Gotcha. Light Years Podcast. We are brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Priority last-minute deals, save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, etc. Flash deals save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game, or event zone deals save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats. And you get the seat views. Get a panoramic view from the seat in the app before you buy. We got a lot of LA listeners. We got a lot of SoCal bros listening to us. Gals as well. So authorized MLB ticket place. Dodgers. How much do you think the tickets are going for Dodgers Yankees? Got to be insane. Just got to be insane.
I heard you can get in for $8.
I think Tommy said 600. Sam says 8 with Game Time, baby. Because what you got to do, all you got to do, wait till you get right up to games at 5:00, I believe. Wait until you get up to 4:30, while everybody's pregame, everybody's drinking, flip on Game Time, go in there, go buy tickets while everyone's out paying attention. Everyone's selling, trying to get rid of them because they've got work to do that night or whatever. So take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download Game Time app, create an account, use code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account, redeem code LIGHTYEARS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. All right. We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Use promo code LIGHTYEARS. Get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks, best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks puts its member first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. They also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. you can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. They also send you weekly offers. I think tomorrow's offer is Anthony Edwards over on 1 point or on half a point. So literally you just take that, merge it in with a couple other ones, right? I'm taking Peyton Pritchard over easy. That's my guy this season. He's crushing. Put those two together. Easy money, man. So sign up today, get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It is guaranteed. Download the app today. Use code LightYears. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code LightYears to get $50 instantly
Promo
after
code
you play
LightYears.
your first. Thank you. Promo code LightYears. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Oh, dude, this has been fun. Yeah, we got the full show. We got our guy Tommy in here. Man,
I'm feeling
I don't
good.
know where I want to go. I don't know where we're going to go with this.
I mean, honestly, my
Tommy,
first
kick
take
us
is
off.
I got to
Kick
learn
us
how to
off.
do these. I got to learn how to do these ad reads like Andy.
Dude, they're tricky. Look,
I thought-
people mock, but there's a skill to them. It's
I'm trying. Like, I've been watching some film. I've been like listening to Bill Simmons do them. I've been listening to Ryan Russillo do them. Just heard Andy do one. Like, I gotta set my game. They really
like
are.
to say-
I gotta set my game up
Yeah.
on the ad reads. So
Me, Bill Ryan.
it's like
It's kind of like the trifecta.
All right, So I want your guys' opinions. So Kuminga didn't get the extension. We get the leaks today about he wants a max or something close to it, and all this sort of stuff, and politics and blah blah blah. So all of this in your head. What's the starting lineup on Wednesday?
Tommy?
I feel like Kuminga almost has to be in it at this point because
Yep.
they didn't give him the extension. So it's what I don't want it to be.
You're coming.
I love
told
it.
you this. I told you this 3 weeks ago. You're like, nah. I'm just like, they're starting small, baby.
It's going to be Steph, Melton, Kuminga, Wiggins, Draymond.
Wait,
It's
you
gonna be
don't
disgusting.
like that? You don't like that, Tommy? I'm kind of shocked. Why?
I hate it. Look, I love Draymond at the 5 in the right context, the right moments, but you're not going to get enough stops. You're not going to get enough rebounds. If Kuminga, Marcus said something different. He said if Kuminga could guard a 1, it might work, which I somewhat agree with. If Kuminga could play the backside on help side defense and actually
That's a bigger one.
be a weak side rim protector and understand how to rotate and actually make a closeout at a NBA level, then I think it could work. Or rebound. He doesn't do any of those things. And look, I do think he has a bright future. I've been ragging on him a lot lately, but I don't see it this year. He's 21, 22. He's not going to learn this stuff right now. And there's a reason that the extension didn't happen today. There's a reason that, he didn't want 5 years, 150, whatever the reported offer was. He believes too highly in himself, and he also doesn't understand his own skill set. I think he can be a great player one day. He's not even close. And so I'm looking at the chat comments earlier, right? And talking about Jimmy Butler creates the same problems that Kuminga does.
No.
And I'm just
watch the game.
And I'm like, are you guys serious? Jimmy Butler has been the best player in multiple playoff games over multiple series against Giannis, against Jason Tatum. He outperformed LeBron in multiple finals games. What are we talking about here? And I understand the age differential where it's Kuminga's 22, Jimmy's 36. Sure. Will Jonathan Kuminga ever be the best player in a playoff series against Victor Wembanyama? Against Jokic? Against Luka? I don't see that happening in his career. I think he'd be a very nice player.
Let's worry about Domas Sabonis first.
Correct. That's my entire point. So I do think he has a bright future. I don't want to sound like he's going to be a bad basketball. He is a good basketball player. I do think he has a very bright future in the league. But what are we talking about here, man? It's just, it feels so out of whack.
Well,
and this is where the front office and the fan base just they get delusions of grandeur in their head.
So so we had Marcus on in the first hour of the show, and I think one thing he pointed out that I think a lot there's different sects of Warriors fans, right? And I think Tommy, you're probably along the lines of like, can the Warriors win a championship right now? That's probably like that's where you want to go.
Yeah.
I think unfortunately the reality, especially for this season, is that, and we might hate it, and this is the season preview podcast, but I think one of the larger themes is Jonathan Kuminga good enough to get you to that championship next year or the year after that? Because I don't think it's this year. And he said something interesting. He said the team doesn't think that they're good enough to win right now. Nobody in there thinks they're good enough to win right now. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I think it's realistic. I think it'd be crazy if Steph was like, no, I think we could win the fifth. Or if Kirk was like, we could definitely win a fifth chat. Like, no, you guys, yeah, maybe Pod's the chat. Maybe I think Pod's probably does believe because he's got that good confidence. But I think that's the resetting of expectations that's hard because a lot of this stuff is going to be, yeah, go ahead, Sam.
Isn't it? It's hard to. So Steph is a generational player. We literally watched the Olympics where every relevant NBA player was in there and who was the most important player when the games were like, I'm sorry. Guys like that don't come along every day, you know? And so it's very hard to go from watching, hey man, I got LeBron, I got Kevin Durant, I got, Tatum whining on the bench, Derek White doing his job, whatever it may be. But Steph was the guy. He was the guy the entire time when games mattered against Jokic, against Wemby's France team, which was a stacked team. The entire time to go from that to, well, we know we're not contending, but we're going to give it a puncher's chance and see what happens. It's like it's kind of a shitty context. I'm still having a hard time, like, because I do agree with Marcus and I do agree with the whole thing, which is like, let go of all expectations and try to enjoy it in the moment and see what happens before anything. But like, it is kind of tough because, look, man, you're not going to find another Steph, right?
I mean, there's multiple ways to look at it, right? Like, the doors are sliding. Like it's a sliding door moment. Like let's just go full Bill Simmons and let's talk about sliding doors moment. Yeah, like maybe we're thinking about next year, right? And is Kuminga good enough next year or the year after? Where's Steph at? 37, 38 years old. Where's Draymond at? After playing center for 20 to 30% of games for the next 2 years. Where's his back at? Where's his health at? Where is he at as just a defensive player in general? So yeah, like we could be thinking a couple years down the road, but like aging is happening on the back end or on the top end of the roster, really. So, I mean, that's a nice way to look at it. It's very idealistic to think like, oh yeah, Kuminga's just going to keep getting better. And then like Steph's just going to stay the same. Draymond's just going to stay the same, but it just doesn't work like that. Like Sam is saying, like you have a limited amount of time to capitalize on these things. And Steph is still that guy in the right moments right now. Like he was the clutch player of the year last year, but there's also a reason why his numbers were a little bit lower.
He wore down. Yeah, exactly.
Like he can't do it for 30. It's not.
All right, let me ask both of you this same question I asked earlier. They win 50 plus games. What happened?
Andy, go ahead.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think it's Kuminga took a leap exclusively.
So
like it'd be nice, but
no. So I think the first thing actually to me is obviously Steph and Draymond play 70 games. That's obvious. Wiggins plays 70 plus games and he's 80% of who he was in 2022. I actually think that's the one. If Sam's fucking rubbing his eyes. That's the one. To me, that's actually the most important one. And honestly, I think that's more realistic than Kuminga getting to a point where he needs to be. So those are the three for me. And then the last one, most importantly, because I agree with you, Sam. I don't think the Kuminga making this leap is like that. That's the one. It's
he's just not turning into.
It's not. It's not. So here's the last one for me. And to the point about the buy or sell, they take Kuminga, they take GP2, Looney, 2 first-round picks, and they trade that thing for someone. That's how you get 52 games. You're not getting 52 games because X is taking a leaper. Like, you're not sitting on this team and winning 52 games. I don't see it. But if you tell me Steph and Draymond stay healthy, Andrew Wiggins plays like he did in 2022, some version of that, 80%, and you go get Jimmy Butler, then fuck yeah. I mean, that's 52 wins for sure.
I do love Jimmy. I'm gonna give
that's just a name, right? Just a name. Zach LaVine.
I would love Zach.
I'm giving an answer.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Draymond. That's my
number
answer.
one.
Because I think if this team wins 50 plus games, it's an elite defense. And if it's an elite defense, it's because of Draymond Green. And they've given Draymond enough defenders. Now, I'm not saying they've given him like the greatest defensive roster of all time, but they've given him enough guys that I can imagine a world where he gets slow-mo, one of Wiggins or Kuminga and Melton, and you're just like, these motherfuckers defend. There's, 98 D rating, that type of thing. Like, I could see a world where they are elite defensively and it's just piecemeal on offense. And that's not like a long-term solution, but that does win you. That's the type of thing where you're like, man, they're like 15-7. Man, they're 22-11. And all of a sudden, when you do that, next thing you know, it's just like, that's when the pressure starts applying.
I like that. I love that.
I mean, the pressure applies, but I mean, like you guys just said with Jason, it applies in the way of where they thinking, oh, we're fine, or do we need to make a trade? And I think it'll always be the former. Oh, we're fine. We don't need to move any of our pieces. We can do this right now. But the funny thing is, I'm actually very high on this team in the regular season. Like, what I saw in the preseason was very encouraging in a lot of ways. Sam and I haven't talked about this.
Sure.
But I just don't, the ceiling just isn't there unless you're saying career year from Buddy Hield. Kuminga turns into like, and it's not about the offense for me with Kuminga. It's about, is he like Pascal Siakam light on defense? Can he do anything that resembles that? Like where it's like some on-ball versatility, some off-ball stuff. Like, that is the bigger leap to me with Kuminga. It's not the offense. The offense is fine for now. If they can get him to a level where he's like kind of a game record defensively, then I'm very confident in this team actually, because he's going to play 25 to 30 minutes. And if you have a forward, a wing who's playing that many minutes, they need to kind of be like that in the league today. They can't be a sieve. They can't be a guy who's missing closeouts and not rebounding. So it's more what can they do with Kuminga defensively? Because if they can get him to improve on that end, then I'm way more optimistic. And I do think they have a very good chance to win 50 games in the regular season. I really do. But I just don't trust the ceiling at this point, because they're not going to be able to get enough stops against the best teams. And that's what it'll come down to.
All right, who do you guys have being – walk me through the West right now. Who do you have having the best record?
OKC by far.
I don't think.
Then who's tier 2? Because I agree with you. I like, it's corny, but everyone's like, it's going to be very weird if OKC doesn't rip through 55 plus wins.
Yeah. And then I think tier 2 is
Minnesota.
I think it really
Denver.
falls off after OKC. Yeah, Minnesota, Denver.
It's
I don't even know
Dallas.
who else on it. Like,
it's Minnesota, Denver, Dallas. But like the thing is, I just wouldn't be surprised if those guys were a game or two better than like Phoenix and even Memphis. Like it just like I don't think there's a big chasm between the tier 2, quote unquote, which I think is people are going to say is Minnesota, Dallas, and Denver. Denver's a mess, by the way. Jeez. And like Memphis and Phoenix, for example. And then I think the tier below that is the Warriors. Is you've got those teams.
We're getting MPJ. We're getting MPJ to the Bay.
Oh.
I mean, but with Phoenix specifically, and I think this is actually a really good point by Andy, Bud is an amazing regular season coach. Like really good. They're gonna get to 50 wins, and they actually got a point guard this year.
They were like very close to it last year too. Like
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's like, "Oh, they sucked last year," and it's like no, they were just like relatively disappointing to your mental expectation of a super team.
Right, and now they have a real point guard.
Yeah. So it's war, and then after that, it's Warriors, Lakers, Kings, Pelicans, and I'm looking at it, Houston, kind of. So I think that's you're fighting for the 7 seed ish, 6-7 seed ish there, right? Because I think for sure OKC, Minnesota, Denver. I actually, you know what? I take that back. I don't know if I throw Dallas into the second tier for sure, 50 win ish team, but just looking at the West, it's the problem with the West is that you don't get to play the Brooklyn Nets and the Atlanta Hawks and the Charlotte Hornets. Like the one of the shittiest teams in the West is the Spurs, probably. Like not great, but could you tell me that the Warriors are for sure going to beat the Spurs if they played them on Wednesday night? Yeah,
no.
So. Yeah, exactly. Like so that's the problem with the West is that every team is good and we're the bad team.
Outside of Portland, really. Yeah.
Utah's trying to win, sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Dallas is in a weird spot. They think they got better, but we watched Klay Thompson for 82 games last year. I don't think they got better. Like they traded. They traded some defense for some offense, which is what they saw in the finals. But I don't know if that's the right trade-off in a way. And I don't think, Jason Kidd's trying to say the right things. Oh, Klay's still a superstar. We'll see. Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. I love Klay. I don't want to say bad things about the guy, but Klay hasn't accepted who Klay is yet. And that is going to cause friction in that locker room. Unless they just have the best locker room leaders of all time, which I don't know if Luka and Kyrie are.
Kyrie doesn't do it for you?
No. Not quite. It's not quite Steph Curry.
That's a blow up.
The main guy.
It's actually a blow up team waiting to happen. Now that the more I think about it, because they got lucky. That's kind of aggressive. Get lucky, but they made a nice run, and they kind of took people by surprise. And Luka took over, but Luka, is he in shape? Like, is he coming in the season in shape? Is he locked in? Is he going to play 75 games? Has he ever played 75 games? I don't even think he's ever played 75 games. So, Kyrie, is he going to play the same amount of games as he did last season? Anyway, so I know
the Mavs felt like a yeah. I mean, we don't need to do a Mavs section, but they felt like a wild card baseball team getting right at the hot time or getting hot at the right time. You know what I mean? Like that.
I mean, it's the same thing with the Lakers.
Should have been the Mets,
before, right?
Yeah,
the Mets.
Yeah. All right, we don't need to do this right now.
The Mets.
Should have been my Mets. Now it's going to be actually no. Neither team is wild cards now.
McWalter. McWalters, what's up, buddy?
What's up? A great convo tonight. This was phenomenal. Always good to see you guys. Glad Tommy's on board long term here. Phenomenal.
Appreciate that, McWalter.
So he's always on it. Not that you guys aren't. You guys are amazing as well.
Yeah, it's okay.
Hey, I gotta say, when you were recapping teams, you forgot the Clippers, man. They might be. If they own their pick, they might be in the running for that first pick of the draft. They look like they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
I mean, no Kawhi. They let Paul go. That's their offense. Their offense is literally gone. Like, and those were their two best defenders. So, like, how are they not at the bottom of the West? And don't tell me Ballmer will buy a team. That guy's, they ain't happening.
They got enough players to not be at the. But you're right. I mean, they are fucked.
Or are they third? Do they make 40 wins?
I mean,
and the fact that we're even thinking about that means that they're pretty bad.
Yeah, I mean, Harden will get them somewhere. Harden's still good enough in the regular. But yeah, you're right.
The Spurs will finish ahead of the Clippers. I'm calling that right now. The Spurs will finish ahead of the Clippers. I think the Clippers could be historic. They could be really bad. Because Russell and Harden will throw a fit. They could just completely implode on themselves.
You said they don't have their pick, right? The Clippers don't have their first round.
I don't think they do. I think it's swap rights with
gotcha.
with someone. Gotcha. They're totally screwed, and it's like no protections at all. Whoever has that's getting,
it's OKC.
Isn't it Presti? Okay, if I had Don't get me started. OKC's set up to win forever. We'll see if they actually win one, but
nothing wrong. What are you most excited? I'm excited about the Dubs.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about this Warrior season?
Really, I'm really excited that they brought Melton in. I actually thought that was a really, really good move. Almost like on that like Livingston level back in like the early days where you're just like, that's a really smart move. And slow-mo too, but to a lesser extent because we know Milton's going to play a little more. But those were just really good, solid NBA moves. Locking in Moody so that he doesn't have this thing floating over his head along with the Steve mind games is very helpful just for his mental health, because he's already got enough to do with Steve Kerr messing with him, that I think we might even see a little bit better Moody time there. And I like where you guys are going with this whole Butler discussion. I'm not a big Butler fan. I don't think he moves the needle for us, but I think if is the only thing holding us up, then it's been awesome. But like I'd rather win.
Can we have a conversation?
Sure.
Sorry, this is very aggressive. Are you telling me if they turned Wiggins, Kuminga, and expirings, which is, the moral compass of the team, Looney, and GP2, into Jimmy Butler, you would not feel confident that team was significantly better, that team had a puncher's chance? I'm not saying they're favorites.
So I'm saying that you're taking the nice to has with Buddy and Milton and Slow-Mo and Moody, and they all and Paz, and they all have to come through, because I've just got rid of two wings that are long wings that do a lot of Swiss Army knife stuff.
What's your alternative? Yeah, we traded 2 long wings for 1 long wing who actually shows up when it matters.
As long as we think he's going to be healthy and show up for all the game, awesome. Right on. I see Jimmy taking a lot of games off. Like, but playoff time.
Do we even need to talk about Wiggins?
He's in on playoffs, but like, we need to win enough games to get there. Jimmy, you don't have to
Wiggins helping you win a game set. Like I feel like this hypothetical. Like, I feel like I'm being gaslit because the guys we're trading fucking suck. None of them do anything on a regular basis. Like Kuminga,
I think,
and doesn't defend his own man. Wiggins, I don't even know if he shows up to work most of the time. Like,
I don't disagree with that, but it
locks people up.
It's just, that's a lot of length you're moving when your other guys are much smaller. They're more 2s than they are full 3s, not 3-4s. You're trading away 2 3-4s, and you're in the 2 3s zone, and you're really saying, okay, Dre, now we want you to play a lot of power forward. Great, awesome, cool. We'll play slow-mo at power forward. Awesome, cool. And then we really need those centers, which our center position is all right to really go for it. I'm just saying, like, that. You're giving yourself less options.
What are you trading in this situation? Like,
I think
what are we trading in this
theoretically,
situation? We're trading a dude who doesn't show up. We're trading a dude who thinks he's Kawhi Leonard but doesn't know how to fucking guard a pick and roll. We're trading, honestly, Looney's the one who would actually break my heart the most in that, because he actually understands what's going on the most of the time. And then GP2 is injured the whole time. Like, I just. Fake trades annoy me more because they assume if you don't do it, you're going to get the best version of every Warrior player. But if you're
also assuming you're getting the best version of Jimmy Butler coming over here on the back end.
I don't need the best version of him. I need like the C-.
But you do, because you've taken a lot of your leeway and sent it away. So you really do, because you have based on where he's at salary-wise and what, you have a very limited window, and it's Steph's window, right? It's like 2-3 years. We all agree on that. Like, if we're bringing Jimmy in, our window is 2 years, right? Maybe 3.
Is Wiggins extending? Are Wiggins and Kuminga extending the window?
Well, I think
it's a different type of window.
The theory is
what window is this?
Mediocrity.
The theory is that, and by the way, I would do the trade. I would also kind of caution, like, Jimmy could just play 45 games and you're now in the lottery. But I also agree. Like,
that's true. He could fuck you over.
I think that's actually a pretty likely scenario.
But is that any worse than what Wiggins done?
I agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree. Right. It's probably not that much different from what you have today, which is like those guys may not show up. So it's not really to me about Wiggins. It's to me about Kuminga and what he can be. And hey, we could argue all day. I think we have.
Or is it what those other guys are?
No,
right? Like, do
it's
you
about
believe in
Kuminga.
Hield and all those other guys more?
No,
If you
it's
believe in
about
them more,
Kuminga.
then bring Jimmy in because he will be phenomenal for us, and he will be a badass out there. He will play max minutes in the playoffs. He will be great as long as we think we have enough contribution for the rest of the roster, and it sounds like we do. So, like, if we're that confident, and we should. Like, the deal should be done. But does Miami want all those guys? Like, who are we
That
going to
was the
dump
other
half those
question.
contracts to?
Would
And how
Miami
many
wanna
picks
do
is it
that
going to
trade?
take to do that? And
I
maybe
bet
we
you
don't
Miami
care.
makes Kuminga amazing. I bet you Kuminga looks like a freaking amazing in like.
But
2
in this
years
case, you
Miami.
wouldn't be worried about that, right?
Did Kirk
you're
just
I don't
text you
care.
that,
I'm
Andy?
doing this. I'm doing this trade. I'm doing this trade. All I'm saying is I
I'm trying to
see
best to spin it
why
because
it
Sam was getting on me about this, but I'm trying my best to
I
spin
love
it
you,
around.
McWalter.
But
so
it's not possible. I don't think.
I apologize for coming aggressively.
Oh no, it's all
I'm-
good. You're
I'm-
doing the right thing there, Sam.
I would have done it for Cat. They should have just traded for Cat. I mean, that's the one they should have done.
Yeah.
But whatever. We're not
I
going
don't
to.
know. I think I'd rather have
All I'm gonna say is-
Butler than Cat's like
I've seen.
heartless soul there.
I don't
mean,
care
I
for
don't know.
Butler.
See,
I mean, I don't care for Butler. I don't think he's that great. I think he's overrated as hell.
I'm a believer in playoff Jimmy. I'm a
Real
believer.
thing. It's a real thing.
It's an Eastern Conference thing. We're in varsity,
Dog.
baby. This is the
Dog.
Western Conference. You're not fucking beating the
Who are you?
fraudulent ass.
Hey, Warriors play the Suns. Who are you betting on? Steph and Jimmy, or Kevin and Bradley? Come on,
Hey, come
be real
on,
with
come
me.
on.
Be real
Booker's
with
on the
me. Be
team.
real with me.
Booker's on the team. Come on. Booker's their best player.
Why would that even be a question?
They play
Phoenix
the
isn't that
they play the
good.
Lakers. They play the Lakers. You not feeling a little better about having Jimmy on your team?
I'm feeling great.
I just
You got Jimmy to
need
go I'm
someone.
feeling
I
great.
need someone who has some form of fucking balls next to Steph. and
Give me
I'll be
some
good
dog
about
on
it.
this team. We need some more dog.
Yeah. Am I saying it'll be pretty basketball? I've never said that.
Are
I've
you
never said that.
immediately max extending him?
Bro, what do you care about Legos money for?
No, I'm just
What
saying.
do we
I'm
get-
just
when did you fucking turn into like fucking?
I'm just saying. If Jimmy says, "Well, I'll do this trade. I'll come play for you," but you got to max extend me, would you do it? I'm just asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing that
Who
thing
the
that
fuck
bothers me with trades more is like, all right, you trade for Jimmy, you're basically acknowledging you have 2 to 3 years. As Marcus said, get one in the next 2 years, right? And then you're gonna suck. So as long as you're not giving away draft picks during the suck era, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. You know,
When is that? Or like, I won't give a pickup past 27, past 28. Like, what's your cutoff? Well, I need to know what the cutoff is of the suck era.
I'd say
so I can,
28.
write it down.
28 is probably my year. Yeah.
Okay. So we could trade 25 and 27 and keep 26.
I would feel better if it was just 25 and 26. But
Well, do we have two 26s or two 25s? Because you can't do both, right? You
No.
can't do back to back.
but also it depends.
Trade
on
one,
who you
swap
trade.
one.
It also depends who you're trading for. So, like in theory, if
them
you're trading for
all.
a younger player, I'm okay giving up more picks. If it was Lowry Markkinen, and I'm not saying Lowry saves every problem, but he's 27. I'm not worried about him falling apart. Jimmy, I know is like a one punch chance. It's just like, let's get healthy in the playoffs. Let's try to make history. And
Is Jimmy our power forward when we go small?
Yes.
Somebody called
The center.
Dunleavy now.
Jimmy
Shake
at
it
I
out.
don't care. I don't
forward.
care.
Slow-mo at or
It's
slow-mo at power
destroyed.
forward.
It's literally destroyed the East 4 out of the last 5 years.
Is Draymond better than Bam Adebayo? Is Steph better than Tyler Hero?
Okay, that's all. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
What are we
That's all I'm
talking about
saying.
here?
That's all
Then
I'm saying.
Then I think
That's all I'm saying. These dudes
got
are
a
these
team.
dudes are
You got a
running
squad,
like,
boys.
like Duncan. Like I like Duncan Robinson. Dude can play.
But is
But
Kerr
no,
better
you-
than Spo? You didn't ask. Is Kerr better than
Kerr's
Spo?
not better than Spo.
That is the problem.
But Kerr is right. If Spo's an A+, Kerr's an A-.
Look, man,
It's
I
close
love Spo. Give Kerr, Draymond,
It's
Jimmy
close.
Butler, Slow-mo, Trace Jackson Davis, Melton, obviously Steph. I think he's going to look like a smarter coach. That's all I'm saying.
The most misunderstood thing about the Warriors dynasty is that they've won playing pretty basketball or they shoot a bunch of threes. It's always been ugly. It's always been gross when they win championship. I mean, KD years aside, right?
Defense.
2015.
It's always been defense.
It's always been disgusting. They play 3 to 4 non-shooters most of the time. They closed the 2022 NBA Finals with Steph, GP2, Draymond Green, and Andrew Wiggins and Looney or whoever else was on the Klay, obviously. Like, it's always been gross. So, like, people need to get over, like, oh, it's going to look disgusting. It doesn't matter. If you give Steve those type of players, they will figure it out. And I'm not saying it's a championship. Obviously not. But at some point, you just have to be like, look, what direction are we going? Do we actually care about winning another championship in the next 2 to 3 years? Because another one's not coming after that. The entire front office can delude themselves and think that they are going to win a championship 5 years, 10 years after Steph retires. It's not going to happen. It's going to be disgusting for a couple years after that. So if they can't get over that, then nothing's going to happen. But if they do get over that, then all right, you make a trade and you can figure out to maybe how to try to win a championship. And okay, Otto Porter, I see the chat saying that Otto's my guy. Obviously love Otto, but like, you know, it's never been pretty when they've won is my general point.
Winning is always ugly. I think it's the most overrated thing. Look, man, winning games ugly. It's
that's what always happens in the playoffs.
So
always.
It's okay. It's okay. Now we're just in hypothetical land. Do we think? Let's
do our prediction, Sam. We should
last round of buy or sell here. We're gonna end it here.
Yeah,
I appreciate this.
Yeah.
All right. Will management make a trade?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
I have no sources. I'm just hoping. Yes. So yes.
Can we set some type of like parameters? Like what are we talking about in terms of a trade? Is it for Kelly
One that
Olynyk?
matters. One that matters.
Does Kelly Olynyk matter?
Kuzma line.
Yes.
Yes. Olynyk matters. I think yes. Olynyk's
what I'm talking about is not
then
like some sort of like they get involved where Guy Santos gets moved for a second.
Yeah,
you know?
for salary.
I do think that can happen. I don't think it'll be a big trade. I think it'll be Olynyk level.
I don't see them.
Kuminga leap.
No trade. All right.
Kuminga leap.
Because if they start off good, they're gonna drink their own Kool-Aid, right? You know, they're gonna be like, "Hey, we got this. We're fine. We started out great."
All right, give me the.
And if they don't start out great, they're like, "We're not on the timeline to win." Both of those negate them making a move until the next offseason.
I think they do it. I think they do it. They got to. They know. I'm gonna make them do it. Kuminga leap. I think the parameters of the Kuminga leap are wrong. I don't think it's 20 points. I think I agree with Tommy. Can you play defense? I do not. I sell.
Well,
big sell.
If Miami truly wants
chance.
Kuminga, they'll try to sign him in restricted, and we'll sign and trade for Butler, right? And the salaries work a lot better. Like the whole thing works a lot better. Not this season.
Ugh, can't wait. All right, who's next?
Enough.
What's next? Can't wait another season.
All right. What's more likely, Wiggins being serious or Draymond being serious?
Draymond.
And I'm gonna let you take the.
Draymond by
1,000x.
Yeah, Draymond will take it serious. He might. The thing with Draymond, he'll take it too serious. He'll punch someone and get suspended. But hey, at least he's taking it serious, right? So,
I'm Draymond.
Yeah,
100%.
All right, we're gonna end here then. What's your prediction for Warriors' final win total?
49.
Tommy, you have
49. Okay, 49.
Woo.
Tommy, what you got?
48.5.
Yeah. Okay, you can't do 48.
Yeah, be a man.
Yeah.
Put a number on it. No half.
Come on.
There's no half wins in that NBA.
Yankees and
50. Let's go 50. I think they're gonna get to 50.
Ooh.
I was gonna do 47, but you guys got me beat. I was gonna do 47 and like a 6 seed.
32.
Sorry, fuck off.
I'm going 45.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. I actually think this team,
because I'm happy,
they're either going to hit 50 or they're going to win less than 41. That's my prediction.
Oh god.
I don't see
Could you pick one?
I don't see 44. I see a team that's either going to like grind their way to 50 wins or a team that's going to quit and get to 37. That's my guess.
So
obviously 50.
Yeah, obvious. Let's go.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm not going to be an asshole.
Way to fucking lie.
But if they don't, I'm going to be like, if you listen to my answer, I hedged. And deep down, Deep down,
I am
knew.
trying to let Sam sleep. I feel bad. He's been he sent a morning text putting this together today at 4:48 a.m. like a monster that he is. So I appreciate everyone listening. God, it's been 2.5 hours. Jeez, amazing. I love it. I love y'all.
Appreciate everyone.
You guys are the
be
best.
back. We'll be back right
you,
after the
Walter.
game.